It just looked weird. I don't know.
Mike,
That's just my face, Will. I can't do anything about that.
Yeah. Rude.
I just thought the camera was in the right place to be able to see us all there.
He can see Alaina's shoulder. Who's
Yeah.
are you? Oh, you're hitting. Oh man. I was like, that sounds like the Fedora like volume thing. Jeez, man. Look at this. Will just roasting me.
Trying to get a good prank going in the
Will, you can't criticize him for something that you created.
I do like the Fedora like sound. Like let me hear.
Yeah.
Oh, why is it not?
Sounds great. That's amazing. It's exactly what I want out of my OS.
I just hear button presses.
Why is it not doing it?
Did you turn it off?
I'm not sure what you guys are talking about. I thought the Fedora sound was milady.
Oh no, Kreider! I don't know about
Kreider,
that one.
you feisty today. Was it all the snow you had to shovel this weekend?
I actually didn't have to shovel that much. I mean, New York City and Boston got it bad, but I got less than 6 inches here. I only had to take one lunch break and not even the whole one to get my driveway clear.
Dang,
that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to join us. Brad is buried somewhere underneath the snow. We can't find him. Hopefully, I'm just kidding. No,
he's fine.
He's fine. We have some fun stuff to talk about. We're here. This is the pre-show.
Yeah,
this is the pre-show. This was the point where I was going to plop a CRT on the table here and talk about how I rescued it from the curb.
How'd that go at home?
It's fine.
Oh, you saved another one.
Well, I mean, the nice one I rescued from work, so it's not really rescued.
Liberated
as much
is more of
adopted.
No, this one was literally on the side of the road, along with a console size thing that was about like a laptop like this. That was a telephone tester. It had.
Wow.
You're just picking up garbage off like a CRT. I can see.
No, the telephone.
That just sounds like garbage.
This is carrying on Gordon's legacy.
Yeah, listen, also that telephone tester, Gordon, would have snatched like that.
Yeah, like, look, I had a grandfather who was like this. He was like, you know what was really expensive like 15 years ago? Mechanical adding machines in like 1978, 1980. So then he started going to estate sales and stuff and buying mechanical adding machines. And then when he died in 1993, my mom had a building full of mechanical computers and adding machines and garbage that she had to find a place to haul off by the pound. Mechanical computers, very heavy, it turns out. Don't do this. We walk away from this.
No,
Get off this path. This is a dark path you're
I did
on.
not pick up the telephone tester, but I thought, oh, wow, that's actually pretty cool. There was some other electronics
there,
there.
But
But
the telephone tester, you're just saying that now.
But listen, it wasn't just any CRT.
Yeah.
It said Sony Trinitron. So anytime you see a Sony Trinitron, I don't care what shape it is, you take it off the curb, you take it home, polish it up, see what it's like.
Like, this is like last September when we were walking around the electronics flea market, and I was like, oh, how much do you want for that TV? A 21 or 20-inch Sony Trinitron with S-video and component inputs. And he was like, $40. And I said, I will take that right now.
I did, but that was nice. And also somebody brought it there. This was just on the side of the road.
Yeah, so does it have like component inputs and stuff, or is it a good one?
No, it's from like the, as far as I can tell, late 60s, early 70s Sony Trinitron.
So like RF modulated?
RF, yeah. RF. 100%. So
does it have good knob sound?
I did not really touch it, other than it's got a handle on the top, which was cool, and I put it in the car, and then
handle's good.
Yeah.
Does it have full of cockroaches or anything?
Well, I don't know. That's the worry, right? Is that it could.
So where is it now?
Well, it's in our parking space in the garage.
Downstairs?
No, not here.
Oh,
I was supposed to bring it into the office and make it an office problem.
So you don't know if it's actually functional yet?
As of right now, I do not know if it's functional. I
you haven't even plugged it in? Like, you brought it home and you didn't even try it?
I did not take it inside.
Should I tell you?
Because who knows? You know,
that's true. It could be full of bed bugs.
It could have meth in there.
Somebody could have peed on it. You know, you don't know. So it was going to be a work problem.
Should I tell you what?
Please don't bring bed bugs here.
What your wife told me when I got that last CRT, and then I said, "Oh, my partner is fairly upset that I brought home another CRT." And I told you that, and then your wife was like, "Tell Will he's not allowed to give you that CRT." There's no more CRTs coming into our house, I think is what she said.
I don't think this is the exact model, but this is roughly the model.
That looks more or less like the picture you showed me.
Yeah. So
it's Super Mario Brothers on it. That means it's good.
A Sony KV 1201. is the somewhat vintage.
That one has the tube hood around the edges of the. It's not a flat tube yet from Sony.
Yeah, no.
So that means some games the high score mark's going to get cut off in the top corners.
That's fine. But yeah, I mean, judging by the knobs that I did see,
yeah.
it looks like it's going to have a good knob feel.
I like that it has a backlit knob.
Yeah. Anyway, we're not here just to talk about CRT talk. Though if maybe it's a new podcast under the
full
the
CRT
Full Nerd Network.
Yeah,
the full CRT.
CRT Weekly.
CRT
hey guys,
Weekly.
they're not making any more new CRTs. See y'all next week.
Let's check in this week.
Still no new CRTs.
No, dang it.
Hey, welcome to episode 325 of CRT Weekly. No news.
No news is good news, I guess.
No,
that's what they say.
Bad news. That's bad news.
No news is bad news. Anyway, yeah, we're all here. Mike's here. Brad's not here. He's got important work to do. So
he's shoveling.
Yeah, but also Mike has some stuff he really wanted to talk about. And actually, you know what? I expanded on it because I realized he's got a keyboard he wants to talk about. You got a mouse you want to talk about. I've got headphones I want to talk about. Alaina.
It says
it's
keyboards
the all
on the
accessory, all peripherals.
Yeah.
It says keyboard report. I guess the and more.
Oh, I forgot to change that.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me. Yeah, can you change the headline actually? Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, the pre-show. Oh yeah, no, I've got something to rant about once we start the actual show.
I have something too. We missed something important.
We've got 2 rants.
Well, mine's not really a rant. Mine's more of an admonishment and a remembrance for 100 episodes from now.
That's
okay.
mysterious.
386. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Alex, how's the hamsters?
Sir. They're just flying by.
Yeah. Where are they going?
Over there. They're over there. Look out.
Oh, there they are.
Do you ever watch those videos of the hamsters that get in those free spinning hamster wheels and they get them going so fast that then they get hucked out?
It's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
It's not just hamsters though.
Cats
could be mice. I've definitely seen cats, like Bengals who are on the big wheel.
Yeah. At Tested, we souped up somebody's giant cat wheel for them, and we had to test different bearings to get the ones that had the right tension on them, or else the cat would get yeeted out.
I didn't know you could change the bearing.
Yeah, you literally just lift the wheel off of the thing, get a screwdriver, pop the old bearings out, put some new ones in, and you can make that thing smooth as butter. It was bad
in a not good way.
No, it was. She was like, it was pretty good until 3 o'clock in the morning. I heard it going, oh wow, it's so quiet. It seems so smooth. It's so great. And then about 5 minutes after that, you hear thump 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 as the cat gets fired out the back of it.
Kitty.
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. All right. Mike, so what's all those boxes behind your head? Are those all keyboards?
Most of them are keyboards.
Wow.
I do see something that says Lemoki.
Keeb life.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
I mean, that's just reviewer life right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just have a big pile usually.
When I was
the part that you can see is organized. The rest of it I make no guarantees about.
It's okay, Crider. When I was the reviews editor, like that's my official title, I got a lot of product in, and you had to send them back, right? So I just had this mountain of empty cardboard boxes in the cube behind me that no one was using, and so I took a picture one day, and I used that actually as my Twitter, or I think Blue Sky as well. That's my cover image because
that's funny.
Because I was just this is very much what it's like to be a tech reviewer.
Here's a bunch of stuff that you have to deal with and keep up with, and then
you're like, which box is this for? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if this is too much inside baseball, but for review units, I found that if it's under like $200 retail, they usually don't ask for it back. They just don't keep track of that stuff. So I have had, I want to say, I've definitely had over 100 review units that I've had to find something to do with in my career. The last time I had to all right, I got to clean house. I took more than 30 keyboards and controllers and other stuff to the local donation spot. It was, it's a donation spot for food, but they're like, yeah, we'll take anything. We'll find somebody who needs it. So I'm like, please, take it all.
We used to have an annual lab clean out day at Maximum PC where because case manufacturers, for example, never it's not worth their time to pay to ship the case back. So we would just line up 40 cases we tested that year and line them up on the free table at Future. And
that's how I got a couple.
Be like, oh hell yeah, free cases.
They're so fun, but it's funny too because you talk to your friends and they're like, oh, you must, have so much cool stuff. I'd love to get my hands on it. And then when it comes time to clear out because you've asked the companies and they say they don't want it back, and you ask, does anybody want this? And it's crickets. And you're like, what? Where were you? Where are you people? You keep saying you want the stuff. Please take it off my hands.
Yeah. Anyway, we should start. We should get going.
You can get ranting.
Yeah. We got stuff to talk about. So let's, you ready for the intro? Yeah? The intro.
Rocket.
Rocking and rolling and ready. What are we going to talk about? Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. Okay. Here we go. Oh, and thank you for changing the title. There we go. Here we go. All right. In this episode of The Full Nerd, we talk about renting PCs, reliable hardware, and new gear that we've been playing with. Wrong one. That was the ad. That was the ad break. V2. Don't worry. Don't worry. We are not going to put an ad break right at the beginning of the
That would be.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Okay, you ready?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can do better.
That's
Faster with more intensity.
Yeah. I'm slow because I'm trying to remember what we're talking about. So
yeah. Me
anyway,
too.
here we go.
Me too.
You ready?
No.
Okay.
Something's up here.
Cool.
Intro.
Yeah. That's okay. Oh, we're not even on the camera.
They don't hear us right now.
They don't hear us right now?
No.
No, they do.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Hold on, guys.
That's
Hold
fine.
on.
Do you?
It's
Chat, tell us. Can you hear us? Can you hear me asking you this?
production. It happens.
Do you help?
ASMR.
Okay, they
there we
can't
go.
hear
Let's do
us.
the whole show with just the graphic
yeah,
up
maybe,
like that.
because this is not working here.
Oh, noes.
Can you trigger it with the mouse instead of Stream Deck? Uh-oh.
So we're on.
All right. Well, Will is going over to help the production. Hello, everybody.
You're on both.
We are an interstitial, but we can be
It's fine.
heard.
Yeah, it's just the audio version of the intro.
Friend of the show, Lewis Law, just said the full audio.
The full audio. Marco.
Now
there
the
we go.
now the
we can see it.
visuals are back, so you can at least see us.
That's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna straight
So then
cut
hit
to
your
that.
transition.
True audio podcast. There we go.
Okay.
Just try for fun.
Okay, here
Just
we
try
go.
for fun. Make sure it works.
Just see.
Nope.
Nope.
That was
Wishy
the
wish.
ad break.
Why is it playing the intro?
Wishy whoosh.
Yeah. All right. That's fine.
Did you change the?
No.
Anyway,
Swishy
We
swoosh.
erased that.
Hi.
Remember?
how you doing?
No. This
Good to
is
see you.
Better than they are right now.
Can you see me?
I think I can.
Oh, okay.
This
You
could be
don't have
all
your
illusion
glasses
as
on.
well.
My
You don't
bad,
have your glasses
everybody.
on.
I can see close,
Oh.
but not as far. I just feel weird without them on.
Yeah.
So
I know. I really need to get my prescription up. It's very old.
you didn't need a prescription when I first met you, right?
Yeah, it was. I started to get headaches.
Hold on. Can you guys be quiet for a sec?
Sorry.
Shh.
We're in the library now.
Shut up.
Okay. So I was
It's
making sure
great
we weren't getting
podcast.
audio
Because
on
that
the video
that
twice.
because that gets me. out of the intro.
Yeah, I think it was 2018. I started to get headaches from like sitting in front of a computer. Like at the end of the day, I'd just be like, "Oh my goodness, my head hurts so bad." And I went in there like, "Yeah, you should get glasses for
Up close
computer
work.
time." Yeah.
Technical
So I've one
difficulties.
eye that goes in, one eye that goes out. So I'm.
Oh,
trying
interesting.
yeah, actually
Both
the
of my eyes face out. It turns out.
Really?
Yeah. Like
How unique.
I know.
Never heard of that
I've never
before.
seen somebody with one eye in, like the inward eye.
yeah. I
Usually
could-
that's a metaphor,
I
not
could
a
just
literal thing.
see out and then the back of my
It's
head.
like red glowy.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Yeah.
We had some technical difficulties.
Okay,
I think
that's
we got
fine.
it all locked in
And
now.
we're back and we're
It
in.
happens. It happens. All right. You ready?
Live shows,
All right,
everybody.
let's try this again.
Episode 388. We're gonna totally nail
Yeah,
this.
nail it. Nail it.
Stick the landing.
All
Yeah.
right, here, thanks for hanging out with us. The real pre-show. The real pre-show. All right, here we go.
You're a pre-show.
What are we talking about? No, yeah, that's what we're talking about. In this episode of The Full Nerd, we talk about renting PCs, about the most reliable hardware, and about new gear we've been testing. Yeah, I hear the music. And welcome everyone to episode 387 of the Full Nerd Podcast, the PCWorld's weekly podcast about DIY desktop PC hardware. I am your fill-in host, Adam Patrick Murray, but I'm not alone. Oh no, I am not alone. I've got a fun crew here. I'm going to just go around from what is this clockwise. Alaina at the desk. Hello, Alaina.
Hello. I am at a desk.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I appreciate
More of a
it.
table, actually.
That's true.
You're right. It's a work
It's a work table.
Sitting in an actual desk is one Mike Kreider on the line. Hello, Mike.
Howdy, howdy. Nice to be here again.
Is it snowing outside?
It is not snowing outside. It stopped snowing yesterday. I got everything shoveled. Everything's fine. I'm here in Pennsylvania, which did not get it anywhere near as bad as a lot of other places.
Good. That's great. Also, I got one Will Smith sitting to my left. Hello, Will.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth. Yeah.
Nope, not
That's
Earth.
what he says. That's what he says.
No, never said that.
You know what? Who else is coming to us from planet Earth? Is one Alex Estevez on the verticals and horizontals.
Thank you for your patience today, everybody.
Hey,
Appreciate
it. It's fun. We're having fun here. Yeah.
That's the whole point of this.
Yeah. Catch the pre-show if you want some shenanigans.
Hey, I just realized something really important.
What?
This week is a real milestone.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah. It's
Why?
episode 387.
Okay.
Yes.
The most important processor in the 386 was that math coprocessor, the i387 chip.
Really?
Yeah, you could add a little socket in your 386. You could jam in a math coprocessor,
And it added one more number?
It did floating point math better, so you could play Doom on a 386 if you had a 387. That's why it's the most important.
Dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So shout outs to the 387.
Yeah.
The only processor episode name overlap that we celebrate here on the Full Nerd.
Really?
Yeah.
So far.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah.
far.
Yeah.
Can't wait to get to the 9950X 3D episode.
I mean,
I'm not going to be here then.
I mean, there's possibly a chance that you will be here for our 486
I mean, I like that
celebration.
optimism.
What about 8086?
No, I'm not going to make it that long. I don't want to. Please kill me.
Kill me now. Hey, listen. Before we get into the topics here, I gotta complain about something.
Something grinding your
Yeah.
gears.
I'm looking right at Alaina because I think she's gonna
Oh
understand.
boy.
Oh, here we go.
I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. I don't know
Yeah.
if you heard about this
It's
video
a fine
game.
video game.
Yeah, I know you play a lot of it, though.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're out recently.
No, I'm back in.
Okay,
I'm
all right,
there.
you're back in. Anyway, I have multiple ways of playing Arc Raiders, but one of them and I was just like, it's my go-to to just fire it up and play. And I was like, oh, you know what? I might as well get it on the PS5. Just I want to support the devs. You know, I'll get another copy, and then I'll just have another way to play it if I really need to turn on my PS5 for some reason. And so I downloaded it, fired it up. You have to sign into your Embark ID to get the transfer from your profile, and then all of a sudden the next thing was like, oh, hey, to play this game, you need to sign up for PS Plus. And I was like, oh my goodness, I bought a game that I literally cannot play.
It's a multiplayer only game.
That you can't play without also paying for.
Yeah, that's how it is on console.
I
mean, not all the games though, because Fortnite gets around this because it's free to play. Minecraft, I think also Minecraft just charges.
I'm
I'm
not
just
as-
like,
I play Brawlhalla on the
Yeah.
PS5. You do not have to pay extra.
I'm not as familiar with Sony's restrictions, but if I recall right, they are a little bit more restrictive than on Xbox. But I also am such a longtime subscriber of Xbox Live Gold and then Game Pass that I'm not sure if I can accurately also say what's gated and what's not.
So Microsoft. So the general rule is free to play stuff. You don't need PS Plus or Xbox Live to play. Paid multiplayer only titles you do, which make sense to me. I do not know.
That's wild.
I guess it's been so many years since I've had to deal with this stuff because I used to be a lifelong Xbox Live subscriber and whatnot, and then just to be like, oh, okay, I bought a game and I literally can't play it unless I also shell out more money for their service.
So you refunded it and got your money back, right?
No, because they were like, oh, well, we noticed that you downloaded the game, so as part of the official thing, you can't get a refund.
Did you complain about that?
Not yet. I need to.
You should.
I was
you should
already
ask to
so
speak to
pissed.
their
I was just
manager.
like, come
Go
on.
full Karen.
That's incredibly annoying.
Yeah. And actually, the fact that it saw that I downloaded it was interesting, I guess, to
Of
me.
course, it saw that you downloaded.
yeah.
They know
Wait,
everything about
yeah,
you.
they can
True.
track
I know,
that.
I know.
They know when the last time you went to the bathroom was based on when you were logged in on your cookies on your phone.
I do think that's a dumb policy though, because it's one thing to download it, it's another thing to actually get game time with it. So like, it should also be able to register that he tried loading the game and
Yeah.
then couldn't actually enter it. So that shouldn't count as actually having played the game.
If you have a game that you're not physically able to play, the refund policy should
Yeah.
should
No,
apply.
I 100% agree with
Yeah.
Adam on this one. That's very consumer unfriendly, but it also doesn't surprise me.
Consoles. They suck.
I don't
They're the
know if
worst.
that's a console thing or a Japanese company thing. To
No,
be
I
frank,
think both. Well,
because Microsoft.
the Microsoft refund policy is much more generous than
but that's
that.
what I mean. That's where I
Yeah.
think the cultural difference comes into
Yeah.
play.
As opposed to the Nintendo refund policy, which is once you gave us your money, it's gone, baby.
But that's what I mean. It's a cultural difference. One time I did manage to get a refund when I was in Tokyo, but I think it's because their customer service policy, where it's like they want to put the customer first, overrode the natural cultural thing. And because I'm a foreigner, they were like, okay, this one time. And I was like, I'm so sorry, but thank you.
Yeah.
So stupid. Anyway, whatever. I guess I'll just go back to playing Arc Raiders on my PC.
There you go. That's the way it's meant to be played.
So you shouldn't
The way it's
support
meant to
things,
be
I
played.
guess.
Yeah. I mean, or I'll just
I hope you
let
learned
the
an
devs
important lesson.
keep the money, whatever.
I mean, look, just send them a check if you want to send the devs money. You don't have to
Actually,
buy
that's a good
anything.
idea.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Buy a skin.
Anyway, we're talking about ways that we hate spending money. So let's move over to an interesting topic. I'm gonna put this at the top of the show here.
Is this like air quotes interesting or hashtag interesting? What do you like? What's your?
I'm so ready. I'm so relaxed about this. I'm so ready for this conversation.
Yeah.
I got an email
Oh
You
boy.
did.
on Friday.
You did.
Yeah, and the email said, "I love renting PCs."
That's
Let me-
actually not what the email
Okay,
says.
Was
Let me
this sent by
find-
somebody who like sells a PC rental service or
not put words in
somebody
anybody's
Actually, not
who's
what it
been
says.
whacked on the head a couple of times too many, or like what's the context for this?
The headline said, "Hear me out: I'd rent Valve's Steam machine," effectively saying they totally support the idea of leasing a PC. Except for the subhead says, "I hate the idea of leasing a standard PC, but such a scheme could save the concept of PC gaming consoles."
This is why I'm so relaxed going into this conversation. Where Adam, so Friday morning, because that's when the newsletter goes out. Friday morning, I get there's like a Slack message, and it just says, "Alaina, we have to talk about your newsletter topic next Tuesday." And I was like, "Sure, go ahead. That's not a problem." And the whole tone of it was, "Can't believe that you're advocating for PC rentals and people are going to be so mad." And I said, well, not if they actually read the actual newsletter.
Nobody reads. Everybody looks at the headline. They're like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, it's like the headline. The headline says something inflammatory, and then the rest of the article is blah 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 blah. It's like Charlie Brown.
So reasonable, right?
Yeah, sure, whatever. Reasonable, schmeasonable.
Okay, so here's the thing. For everyone who doesn't subscribe to the newsletter, who is the basic.
Which you should. You're an
Thank
idiot
you.
if you don't.
Wow, that's strong,
Yeah.
but thank you, I guess.
Yeah.
The premise was, okay, so here's the thing. I was reading about PlayStation 5 rentals. There's an agreement right now, or it got more publicity. It's been around for like a year or so, is what I remember reading. But it got recently more publicity that there's the ability to rent a PlayStation 5 through this UK chain that does,
Is it called
digital
PC
rentals. No, that's gone now. I actually tried finding I tried to find a Curry's PC World when I was there, and it turns out they're all gone. So I wasn't even able to get a photo of it.
Womp womp.
Yeah, it was sad. And I was thinking to myself, oh, wow, that kind of sucks because this particular program isn't even like a rent to buy sort of situation where it's really just you pick a term. It's almost like a car lease, right? Where you pick a term and then at the end you have to give it back.
Who would lease their car?
Some people do.
I lease a car because it's electric.
Yeah, because electric
Actually,
cars.
we know another person.
Yeah, electric cars seem to work out better
The deals
math-wise.
on electric cars are incredibly aggressive.
Yeah.
When they need to move.
We can talk about that some other time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, those terms sound pretty awful. And then I thought about it, given the cost right now of PC components and how expensive it is to build, even in kind of the low range. Kreider just did an article pricing out sample builds, and his mid-range PC and honestly lower end of mid-range is already like $1,200, and that was a month ago, Kreider? That was a while already. So I mean, some prices have stabilized, but even still, it's pretty expensive right now. And I thought, oh no, is this the way PC gaming would go? And I thought, okay, well, I hate that. I hate the idea that you may not be able to own anything. Like if you want to play something and you need to upgrade your PC, you'd have to end up renting it because you had no other real options that were affordable, because otherwise you'd have to sink that much at once. And I was thinking to myself, oh, that's awful. Maybe I should rant about that. And then I had another thought while I was thinking about all this. And I thought, wait a second. this actually could work for the Steam machine. Because hear me out. Steam machine, Valve doesn't have the same ability to negotiate prices as the big OEMs do, right? So your Dell, your Lenovo's, your Asuses, like all of them, they have other divisions and already partnerships in place where they can probably negotiate certain rates, right? We've already seen that the Steam deck is out of stock, that the pricing for SSDs and RAM are being explicitly named as the reason for why they're out of stock. The Steam machine itself has been delayed, currently saying sometime in the first half of the year before it was Q1. And I thought, oh no, I've been thinking about this, like, oh no, is the Steam machine going to die again on the vine before it even has a chance? Because when it was announced in November, we all thought, oh, this is pretty interesting. This could be something really cool.
Depending on the price.
And it depending on the price. And so now we have this like sword. I even put this in the newsletter. We have this sword hanging over the Steam machine where if it's so expensive as a gaming console, basically, who's going to put down $1,200, right? Sure, there's going to be some people who still have that fun money that they might want to blow on this, like to just see how it works, but that the adoption rate would probably be so low that it'd be very difficult for it to get traction. And if the whole point of this is furthering Steam OS, this idea of alternatives to Windows in this machine, alternatives to Xbox and PlayStation, you need adoption. You need like mind share. You need people to be talking about it. And I thought, well, I don't think I would put down $800 to $1,200 for a Steam machine when I already have gaming PCs that still kind of do the job, right? But I would be willing to rent one for like a year just to see what it's like. And that's how I got to the article.
How much would you pay to rent a computer for a year, though?
It depends. So that's what I was saying.
Like part of the problem with the whole PC rental idea is that a lot of the most predatory lending in the world happens at this kind of small scale rental stuff. Like the rent-to-own furniture and TV and electronics places are one of the great American scams of the 20th century.
Great in air quotes.
Yeah, like I mean, it was great for the people doing the renting and terrible for everyone renting, right? But just because the typically, it's the what's his name, the Discworld guy's work boots theory, right? It's the same thing. It's like,
the Sam Vimes boots theory.
Yeah. That's Terry Pratchett.
Terry
right?
Pratchett. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about Terry Gilliam before the show, and I had Terry Gilliam.
The wrong Terry.
So many Terrys.
But the idea is that if you buy a pair of nice work boots, they cost $200 and they'll last you for 15 years, right? If you can only buy cheap boots, they last you for a year, and you pay $40 for them.
Yeah,
but after 4 years, you've paid for the price of those expensive boots.
If I remember the example right, I think that in that story, the theory was that you could only afford the cheap boots, and then like the soles give out, and you have to put like cardboard inserts to make it work, and it's just a miserable experience.
Yeah.
But if you can afford to just put all your money once into a better pair of boots, and they last a long time, and they feel good to wear over that haul.
Yeah, and cost less money over the long term versus buying something that has
but it's still more upfront.
Yeah, it's more upfront.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I remember this example very particularly. I'm a big Discworld fan. It's a rich man can spend $50 on boots. A poor man can only spend $10 on the boots. After 5 years, the rich man still has nice boots. And after 6 years, the poor man has spent more money on the same amount of boots and still has wet feet. You end up paying more and you still get the crappy experience.
It's a great, like, it's such a great example of like illustrating the poor tax, the idea of a poor tax.
I mean, if you pair that with the Douglas Adams idea that shoes get progressively crappier the longer, like as a class of item, the longer that capitalism goes, then it paints a real grim picture for our feet's future. But my point was that you end up paying way more for a crappy with these rental schemes. Typically, you end up paying way more for a crappier PC. Now, with A, potentially Valve behind this idea, but B, a fixed platform, more like a console, you end up in a situation where it's just the predatory pricing and the rental financing fees, not necessarily the thing. It's kind of like what Microsoft did with the Xbox One, that they did a buy
all access thing.
You like could buy a year of Xbox Gold or
that one. Okay, yeah.
And they'd send you a console that was like kind of yours after a certain period of time or something. I don't remember how that worked exactly.
Yeah, it was some kind of promotion where you basically almost rented the console or it was like kind of rent-ish to buy, where it's you're paying for, I think it was Game Pass and then the console. And so it's basically saying, you don't own any of it, but you also don't have to think about, having to, manage your downloads or all that kind of stuff, or your purchases. I mean, I hear your point. Were you still going though? Sorry.
Well, no, I'm good.
I saw it in your face. You're like, you still have something you want to say.
Are you still
No,
going?
it's okay.
I just like, for me, the rent to own stuff is the worst of both worlds, because like you're stuck if you're the user and it breaks. It's then your problem, right? It's not like if you rent an apartment and your fence blows down, you call the landlord like, hey, yo, come fix the fence. If you rent a PC from some fly-by-night operation and the PC breaks, they're like, well, I guess you should fix your PC. This is your problem, buddy. And like the place that gets fixed is one of the cloud services, right? Like GeForce Now or something like that, where if their cloud breaks, they fix it.
Actually, yeah, that was going to be something I was going to bring up too. You would rather do this than like a GeForce Now kind of thing, because I feel like that's the other thing people usually point to.
So here's the thing, right? Like I usually try to keep the newsletter pretty short, because I don't necessarily. I'm personally not a fan of like really, really long newsletters. I like to, have a topic kind of put in front of me. I can chew on it a bit, and then I can go about my day. So I keep it shorter. So if I were to dig into all of that, if I were to dig into all of that, it would have been much longer. And I was trying to basically like just kind of sketch the idea and then, kind of get out. And I did invite people to, share their thoughts with me. I haven't seen anything yet, so I don't know.
Well,
maybe it's just 5 people. Maybe it's just 5 people who are reading that.
How would you weigh that?
So here's the thing. I specifically called out the Steam machine because I'm not thinking of this as a thing where people are choosing to do this because they are weighing all of their options and they are, deciding that this is absolutely the best thing for me. It's more of almost like a try before you commit sort of situation. Because here's the thing. Back in the day, like when I referenced this lightly in that article, where we were much more in the world, as in like we were going to people's houses, we were going to malls. This is the way you got exposed to hardware, right? And I think we're still going over to other people's houses, but malls aren't what they used to be. Like GameStop is not what it used to be. All of that are like, even like Target, other places with electronics displays, they're not what they used to be. Like before, you would like see the new console and they'd have it on display with the game. You could stand there for like however long and play it. So you got a sense of if you wanted to buy it, if you liked the games that were available on the console. And we don't really have that option. I don't think necessarily even Valve is set up for that if they wanted like a retail presence, right? So how I was thinking of it is more of, this is almost like a marketing play for them. Not necessarily I wasn't thinking of it purely from the perspective of I'm a PC gamer or I am a console gamer who wants a newer console. But, another thing I mentioned is that it sounds like there are going to be delays for traditional consoles, next gen coming. So that's an opening for Valve as well. The thing is that I don't know what the numbers are like. So I don't know how financially feasible it would be for them to basically underwrite this to address Will's point, right? Where it's not predatory. And they might actually be taking almost like a loss on it, like a loss leader. But the exchange for that is getting mind share of like getting people to say like, hey, what's that console you have? Like, what are you playing this on if you're ever like hanging out for a dinner party or actually even hanging out with friends in person. Wow. That's how I was looking at it. It wasn't necessarily like, oh, well, I can choose GeForce Now or I can choose this console and then, well, I'd have to rent it if I want that. It's very niche. I mean, this machine's niche to begin with, right? This is actually a very targeted idea for... I saw someone in the chat, it scrolled too fast, that someone said, the idea isn't bad, but we're not the right audience for this. But actually, I think we are the audience for this, because how many of us are interested in the Steam machine? How many of us keep track of this, but we also aren't necessarily going to put down $1,200 for a new console just to help support it? I might throw a couple $100 at it to support, right? Even if it's not an ideal term, like lease term or whatever, but I want the idea to succeed. I could afford to do that. I am privileged enough currently, knock on wood, that it stays that way, to be able to do that. And so in some ways, this is actually the specific audience I wanted to address with this argument.
I like the idea Because like for me, this would be a third machine, right? This is like not an office machine. It's not the on the go machine. This is the thing I plug into the TV in the living room, and those experiences with that. Hey, I'm plugging a PC into my living room TV have been a real mixed bag over the last 20 years, right? It's like it's up and down, right? The living room PC. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Like if the Steam machine had come out in a time when hardware was inexpensive and flowed freely from the fabs,
perfect.
And I could pay like $400 and get a sick living room TV that I could, play some games locally and stream the big stuff from the big computer in the other room. 100% there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, as you were thinking about it, though, I'm thinking the person that might be best suited for this is somebody who isn't a PC gamer. And it's like, oh, you know what? Like I like the idea of PC gaming, but man, like having to build a PC or understand how to update it, all that kind of stuff.
It's a real nerd business.
Yeah,
Nobody
right.
wants that.
Too sweaty for me. I like my consoles, and there are a lot of people that are like that.
I have really overdeveloped thumbs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
yeah, and so I mean, I think that's another angle to be like, hey, listen, this is like theoretically one of the easiest console-like PC experiences. Yeah. You get access to amazing library of cheaper games than what people are used to on a console. So maybe this could be a way for people to rent it to see the glories of PC gaming and be like, oh, wow, okay, PC gaming is cool.
It's a vehicle for Steam, basically, in Steam OS, right? And so here's the thing. I personally, without knowing any of their numbers, but just kind of from the outside looking at what the situation is like, if they want this to spread, if Valve wants this to spread as a concept, they're going to have to take a loss somehow on it. They're going to have to eat that. So either their choice is to try to get people to wholesale buy it, or do something like what I'm suggesting, which is like shorter term rentals so that people can kind of get a feel for it.
What if they just turn off chunks of your Steam library and be like, hey, you can unlock these games you thought you owned?
Oh, no.
You can have them back if you buy a nice Steam machine from us. You got a real nice library here. It'd be a shame if something happened to it.
No.
Wow. I don't think Valve's going to take loss lead anything after the Steam Link and the first wave of controllers.
I would agree, but I think if they wanted to spread, unfortunately, that would be how they would need to do it.
Yeah, because if this thing comes out at $1,200, the nerds like us are going to buy it.
No,
but that thing's going to...
because they know what it's worth.
All right, I'm going to ask, Mike, $1,200, do you pay for one?
No.
The specs are lower than what he spec'd out.
What's your number?
Let's see here. For a Steam machine, I would pay $700 or maybe $800.
Okay, it's not going to hit that.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
And the thing is, if
then this thing's going to fail.
We know that Valve is playing to get into the console space because that's incredibly lucrative. If I was Valve, if I was sitting on Steam that just prints money all day, every day, I would eat that. I would make a loss leader. I'd say, hey, here's $2 billion, $3 billion. We'll make a few million Steam machines. We'll take a loss. We'll get a foothold in that console space, and then we'll make the money back. That's what I would do. But I'm not a CEO, so
I'm going to ask the Gordon question and ask if the console space is actually good to be in. Because, Microsoft's having constant upheaval. It seems like that whole thing's collapsing after 20 years.
But it's not really a console in the
under
sense
the TV
of
space.
that.
Well,
That's probably a better way to put it. Under the TV space. Because right now, like even diehard PC people, like you said, have a problem with home theater PC setups.
It's hard. It's a hard problem.
I feel like I'm an outlier in that thing. So even us,
even you, you have to walk up and hit a button to wake the thing up. You can't hit a controller and turn it on.
I mean, supposedly there are ways around it.
Stuff.
But, yeah.
Have you managed to make it work though?
Well, I mean,
see,
Dual Blue Diaries. Subscribe to the Dual Blue Diaries.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
You just leave it in standby and then just hit whatever remote.
What are you made of
keyboard.
money? You can't leave computers running in sleep mode in California. It costs a fortune.
Maybe you need a console then.
Yeah, I'm going to show you a console.
Anyway, okay, so then Mike, say this thing comes out at $1,200. Would you be interested in renting it just to try it out, see if it fits your needs?
If I could spend, say, $100 and get it for a month, I'd try it out. But I think knowing myself and just knowing the way that, because, I live alone. I don't really use my very nice TV unless I'm watching a movie or sports. If I'm playing a video game, I'm doing it right here at my desk, or I have friends over and we're doing something multiplayer on a Switch or a PS5. And that's not something I need to spend more than $1,000 extra on. If I wanted to do that with PC games, I would try to rig up something like the old Steam Link, which I don't think would be that difficult. I could get a mini PC and stream that in, just make sure it's hardwired and I'm covered.
Or even the NVIDIA's Shield or whatever they still
I
sell
have
those,
the NVIDIA Shield. I can do that right now. It's not a great experience, but I would put in the elbow grease to save $1,000. Sure.
Yeah.
I think like the way Apple does their they have two different ways that they finance iPhones these days. One is
a finance program. I hadn't thought about that either.
Yeah, one is one is like the Apple upgrade program where you just get the new phone every year. You don't have to really do anything. You just pick the one you want, and then they send the old one back, and you just are paying them $40 a month indefinitely. The other is that they'll finance the cost of the phone at 0% interest through a financing partner as long as you make your payments on time. The price doesn't go up.
That could work too.
And I think that's probably more likely because then at least they're selling units and it's not just, hey, we have to deal with all these refurbs coming back in.
That's true.
Like there's an infrastructure cost that comes with that. But
yeah, I mean, I don't love the idea of it being a true lease. I would actually prefer something that's more like, as you said, some kind of like rent to buy sort of scenario. But yeah, I don't know. They have a problem though. They definitely have a problem on their hands. I think I'm kind of sad to see this potential second plummet off a cliff.
It sucks because this time it's not their fault. The last time it was their fault because they were like, hey, there's 8 games that run on this thing and people were wise to their situation. This time it's AI claiming another victim.
But I mean, so $60 Codger actually just pointed out here, which is like don't finance expensive things, right? Like if it's a luxury item, don't. And so that's the other thing too, that I think with the economy being what it is, I think even committing to saying like, yeah, I'm going to spend, $50 a month to eventually pay off this console. I'm not sure how many people want to commit to that either, which is another reason I went to the rental idea.
Yeah.
I mean, especially with this kind of hardware, this is not a Falcon Northwest system.
This is commodity hardware that's going to be.
This is already pretty,
It's already kind of very entry level, yeah.
I mean,
kind of stuff,
the one counterpoint is that the Steam Deck price hasn't really changed in the 4 years that it's been out. 5 years it's been out.
But I mean, it's sold out right now, and maybe prices increases in the future.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, typically the cost of electronics goes down. Maybe we're in a new world where the cost of electronics goes up. You buy something, and then the RAM's constantly appreciating. You sell it for more than
so
you
what
paid
you
for
do is you go scavenge, you sell the RAM, and then that's how you finance or pay for your Steam machine.
Look, I saw somebody the other day post that he sold a 4090 for $1,500 more than he paid for it 3 years ago.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy.
It's wild.
It is so crazy right now. I have lived through so many years of tech naturally, depreciating over time, that when the pandemic hit, like I think I've mentioned this story before, that when I was like, oh, I should sell my spare webcam now because I don't need it and people are looking for it. So this is win-win. And I was only looking to get like maybe $20 for it. I got more than that. Like it got bid up. I was very surprised by that.
Yeah. I mean, I think to some degree the Steam Deck also would be a rental, like kind of applies to the same kind of thing, because there's a lot of people who might not know that like a handheld PC is right for them.
Or like if there was a kiosk in the airport. Yep. Where I could put $20 and give my credit card, and then I drop it in the kiosk at the other end, and I'm done, and it just comes loaded with like Hades and Dead Cell, like the top 20 Steam Deck games. Also, not hooked to my account necessarily. That would be dope. I would totally do that.
That's the other thing. Valve doesn't need to do this. It could be Best Buy or a GameStop.
Best Buy is absolutely
like
going to. Klarna will absolutely finance you some business.
No, I mean from because like maybe they're the ones that are renting it out, right? Yeah. Maybe Valve doesn't have is like we don't.
Yes, and then that is very likely just given the fact that this was all started by the fact that there's this partnership with Sony and this UK chain of shops, right? Where it's always had there's always been the potential to rent through these third-party stores, but this one's just a little different because you can actually, I think, get it directly through Sony as part of this partnership.
Yeah. it's interesting. It's interesting. You know what else is interesting? Real quick, we got some super chats.
Oh, yes, we have many, actually.
Skeet Sayer has dropped a bunch of Canadian bucks. Thank you. The first one is $5 Canadian. I appreciate it. Thank you. Said, Humble Choice is $13 a month, and you get 8 games. Last month was, what was that? Total War Warhammer 3, and this month is Resident Evil Village. That's
Total War Warhammer 3 is the sequel to Total War Warhammer 2, I've been told.
Are you sure?
That's what chat said.
Okay, that's
I
good.
had to ask.
That's good. Mike, can you? Yeah, is that check out?
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just asking. I don't know. Somebody check their homework
because he doesn't want someone looking at him.
We did a Foo Show episode with the Creative Assembly folks who made Total War Warhammer, the first one, where we had the giant Warhammer monsters all set to scale, and we were humans walking around them because they made like full. For the cinematics in those games, they made like full movie quality models of the little guys that are in the Warhammer game, and it was really terrifying. The dragons are big and giant and scary.
Yeah,
yikes!
Yeah, lizard men, creepy.
Skeet Sayer also gave us another $5 and said, "Don't blame Steam, blame the data center AI push." I mean,
we do.
But also at the end of the day, like, yeah, if Valve comes out with a $1,200 Steam machine because they don't want to take a loss or whatever. It's just like, okay, well, that's just not good. That's not good for anybody.
I mean, we can blame it on data center demand for components, but at the end of the day, it's still affecting everybody else. So
yeah. Skeet Sayer gave us another $5 super chat. Said, only thing to do today is get a Steam Deck, well, except for it's out of stock, and get a USB dock so you can connect it to your TV. Both of us have tried that. I have
a USB dock and connected to my TV. It's fine.
Yeah. I mean, the problem for me is that it's still Steam Deck performance level on a TV, and even though the Steam machine, we've realized like, okay, that's entry level specs. The Steam machine is handheld specs. It's not the same thing on a TV. So, like, yes, maybe indie games, sure.
Streaming stuff is fine. Yeah. Like, I play Jackbox games on the Steam Deck. In my experience, even streaming stuff to the Xbox Series S is a better experience than streaming it to the Steam Deck.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
That makes sense.
It's hardwired. It has a little bit bigger TDP, a little more processor.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same.
And it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess then but then you also get a handheld. So, like, if it was just a dedicated under the TV thing, I would say nope. I don't think that's worth the price because you're getting less than half performance for if it comes out at 1,000 or 1,200 or whatever. You're getting less than half the performance out of a Steam Deck. Because it's just different. It's a different thing.
We also did a lot of experimentation. Like, it's been a while now. It's been a year and a half. It probably is worth revisiting given the state of drivers on Linux these days. But we tested a bunch of like small form factor machines, like those little nano nuke style boxes, to see if my goal was to see if I could find a $200 NUC style box that had the right graphics support and stuff like that.
Adam shaking his head.
Streaming
with the guys,
not in this economy.
To end up as a streaming endpoint for Steam, and we couldn't find anything that ran reliably.
Have you tried doing that with like an enclosure? So, like, some of those, like, not the $200 ones, but I think some of those, like, especially the Intel ones, had Thunderbolt. So I think it might have been possible to connect them with an external GPU.
Well, you're not going to get anywhere near $200 for that.
No, of course not. But if you wanted to solve your living room problem, it is solvable.
But I just want a streaming endpoint. I don't want something that has actual real compute on that side. I just want something that I can use the giant PC in the other room to like play games on the TV in the living room. And it really, like, the thing that worked best was a fairly expensive AMD APU box. It was like $500.
I mean,
it's almost like you could just buy a console.
It is almost like you could just buy an Xbox Series S.
I was thinking it's turning out to be a terrible time to try again with the Steam machine, but it would be a great time to try again with the Steam Link and maybe like hook it into something like Game Pass if you want to.
I mean, for a while, Mike, every time you visited Valve as a developer, they were like, hey, do you want any Steam Links?
Oh my gosh.
And like,
I bought one for $5.
Yeah. Like I made a comment. I made a positive comment on it on Twitter one time, and like 6 people were from that I have worked with in different capacities. Were like, hey, if you need some Steam Links, just let us know. We're good.
Do you know that Gordon made it a sort of like unofficial side hobby just to pick up Steam Links whenever he saw them on sale for $5?
When we were cleaning out the downstairs closet, we saw a ton of them.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know why he did it. I think it was the equivalent to your grandfather collecting those was Atom machines. because I think in his head he's like, oh, this is precious because this was a technology that I hadn't seen before and I like it, and now it's on sale for cheap, and so I must stock up on it. And we kept saying to Gordon, who's going to use these, Gordon? He's like, I'll give them out for stocking stuffers.
I mean, the weird thing about that was at the time it was a kind of competent little computer with H.264 decode, right? Which was an unusual thing at the time. It was a neat thing. Ultimately, it only had H211N, which was what made it kind of useless for most people.
I mean, at this point, I think the true successor to that is the NVIDIA Shield, right?
Yeah, the 10-year-old, 12-year-old.
It's amazing how they're keeping that thing alive.
Yeah, I think the last update was maybe 2019, 2018.
That's right. It was right before I started working at PCWorld that I actually reviewed one. So yeah,
like in a traditional console cycle, the Xbox Series S would be like $150 right now, and like that would be a real easy solution for this problem.
Actually, I did see a video recently on YouTube. We're way off topic, but it was somebody who was buying a PS4 and was like, okay, what is it still good for in this day and age? And I mean, there's still service games, online service games like Fortnite or something.
You can play games on your PlayStation 4.
I mean, and I'm sure, I'm sure there's a way to get Moonlight and Sunshine.
I don't actually know about that. I
Maybe.
don't think that there's no equivalent of the UWP store on Sony's side that I'm aware of.
I know, but other ways to get
into
you're saying you
PS4.
Break the law.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, yeah, wow. If you want to get hot takes like that in your inbox, then you should go to whatever that URL
It was
is.
so funny. I didn't think anyone was going to read that. I just thought, I'm just going to put this idea out in the world.
Alaina just woke up and chose violence last Friday and expected nobody to respond.
I mean, especially when that headline is, let me read it again.
Yeah, get wrecked, noobs. Is
I think renting PCs is the best thing ever.
That's that's absolutely not what it says.
Hear me.
Yeah.
My name is Alaina Yee. I'm smart. I suggest you rent this machine.
I would never call myself smart, so that's already a false characterization there, sir.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, let's move on to the next report because I think it's interesting. I get another newsletter, not quite like the Folder newsletter.
Not as violent.
Yeah, that you can get on PCWorld.com/newsletters/PCWorld. I got a newsletter in from Puget Systems. Puget sound. Anyway, let me find the link because I don't have it in front of me. Where did I put it?
It's in the show notes.
Great. Yep. Link. Go check out
PugetSystems.com/lab/articles/Puget-systems-most-reliable-hardware -of-2025.
Okay.
I will say for anyone listening right now, if you go to the YouTube show notes, there's a link there.
Yes,
right
I just did that.
You don't have to use
Look, I just believe
narration.
in reading the URL. Okay?
You know, it's okay. I believe it, but you don't have to.
So this isn't unique. There are other vendors that do this as well, but like knowing Puget Systems, who they build for, what kind of reliability they are wanting, I think is pretty telling because as far as I understand in the pre-built space, especially, I mean, we've had them on the show, like they really care about stability. They're not selling to gamers. I mean, I'm sure people game on them as well, but these are workstation machines.
They run RAM at JEDEC. That's how hardcore they are about stability.
Yeah. Like they are not pushing systems hard. They are intentionally trying to keep things as stable as possible. So knowing how thorough they want to be in that, I think informs their reliability testing, which is interesting. Like I said, the link's down in the description if you want to get all of the details. But they break down CPU, GPU, not only between workstation but also consumer lines as well. So we don't really care too much about the workstation stuff, though it is kind of interesting to see the difference. And did you guys get a chance to look at this report?
I read it.
Was there anything that stood out for you that you were like, oh wow, this is
CPU that I killed was on the list as the most reliable.
The 265K?
The 265K.
Does that say something about the chip, or does it say something about you, sir?
That CPU that was dead when I got it was on the most reliable.
I see.
Not that either. Mike, did you have a chance to look at it?
I did. I thought it was interesting. If you had just looked at like the tech news over the last few months, which of course is part of my job, you would think that the Ryzen 9000 X3D series is not particularly reliable because there have been a lot of reports of motherboards going out from different brands, just little bits and things. And I think the fact that there's a lot of gaming hardware on here, and that series specifically, shows that sometimes, hey, mea culpa, the media can give you a very warped view of what the total market looks like, just because these are the people who are most invested, most plugged into their hardware, and most likely to raise an alarm if something bad happens. But here we have some pretty reliable, not quite scientific data that shows, no, as a matter of fact, this is pretty stable, pretty reliable.
Well, and it was also interesting because they were talking about testing not only before they ship it, but also after. Because I think a lot of times
they do support.
Yeah. We're usually seeing end people reports, right? Like people getting on Reddit, be like, oh, look at this, I've got a bulge on my CPU. This sucks. But Puget is also like allowing the numbers to be shown of like, okay, you know what? In the labs, when we were intentionally stress testing it, here is what we're getting. So it's a mixture of both, and they do call it out in some ways. But yeah, so essentially, I mean, we don't have to go over all the details, but they were talking about the 265K, which is the Core Ultra 7, the Intel version, Arod Lake, has a 0.7% failure rate.
0.77% failure rate, right?
And then the X3D processors, which I'm not sure why they didn't call out a specific processor. I would assume that knowing the kind of people they sell to, like maybe the 12-core version. I don't know. Maybe they do a mixture of all of them.
They specifically called out the 90.
They didn't. No, it's
they just
the whole
said
thing.
The X3Ds were slightly more reliable than the non-X3D versions.
Yeah. So, which is interesting because, like you said, I think a lot of gamers are looking at the X3D stuff.
I thought the interesting thing to me was that the failure rates for the Ryzen 9000 and Core Ultra 200 series were basically the same, like 2.52% versus 2.49. And again, part of this is you have to take it with a grain of salt because this doesn't. My guess is coming from Puget, basically the low end of the market is kind of scraped off of here just because of the kind of clients that they serve. So we're not seeing a lot of Celerons. They're not shipping a lot of Celeron machines, right?
I mean, they even have Xeon on here as well. Like I said, it's consumer high end, mostly more high end consumer, and then workstation kind of stuff. Also the GPU stuff, which I thought was interesting. They pretty much only call out RTX series,
NVIDIA,
and NVIDIA stuff, and they're saying their failure rates were what'd they say, 0.25%.
But how catastrophic were those failures? Like, which ones shot flames out of the back, right?
I mean, once again, like
very violent show today.
I know that they do care about stability. I don't know if they're doing undervolting on these, probably not.
No.
Or power limiting is probably a safer bet. But I mean, workstation type cards like this are going to be run heavy, like for long periods of time. So adequate cooling in the case is something they care about as well. So
I wish so. I understand why they don't do it because they don't want to give competitive data about how many units they sell. But like when Backblaze does their hard drive reliability reports for Backblaze is a cloud backup provider. Every 6 months or so, they release a big giant, hey, what's the state of our hard drive fleet at any given time? Where they have actually the numbers of drives that are affected, so you know that like a 1.2% failure rate on this particular drive model that they have 300 of them in the cloud is less reliable than a 1.2% failure rate on a drive that they have 30,000 of in their cloud. I wish that we knew. Like I trust them to know what's statistically significant and what isn't here, but they're not showing their work.
It's still nice to see like the breakdown.
Yeah.
Also, sorry,
it is worth noting here on the GPU specifically. I'm looking at the Puget Systems like configuration page. If you want to build out a pro system from them, they have exactly one option for Radeon cards in a regular desktop and one Radeon in a workstation, and there's everything else is NVIDIA. There's 5 NVIDIA regular consumer cards and looks like 9 or 10 NVIDIA Pro cards. So
Which I'm
There's
gonna
a reason
assume,
they're not talking about AMD cards here.
Yeah. I'm going to assume it's mostly CUDA, workflows that are
AI workflows that are locked onto CUDA, and game developers also almost universally stick with NVIDIA because a lot of the tooling is NVIDIA specific.
Yeah, and video can lean a little bit better towards NVIDIA stuff. I should clarify real quick. The 0.25% was Founders Edition. The next most reliable were Asus cards at 0.4%, and then PNY cards at 0.45%. Either way, like by their claim, they say amazingly low failure rates. At least for what they're doing.
I would also say that Puget is one of the places that I would trust to be able to adequately plug in the 12-volt 2x6, right?
You would hope.
What? And also shipping too, right? Because they got to ship these systems.
They know how to ship it. They know how to put it together. Like the failures on that stuff seem like they're mostly user error exacerbated
like
by
DIY
bad design.
builds.
Yeah. I actually forgot to reach out to them because one of the questions I did have, which I don't know if they would answer or not, was that if they're claiming to see failures in testing before it even ships out, then they theoretically would know what tests specifically caused which failures. So, a really heavy, I don't know, Unreal load caused the classic Raptor Lake CPUs to get fried, something like that. Like I wonder if they're willing to be open about that stuff. I should still reach out and maybe follow up.
So they do give a little bit of a hint about the scale because they say in the motherboard section that the Gigabyte B860M Aorus Elite Wi-Fi 6 ICE edition, that they only sold 100 of those in 2025, and that's barely meeting their quantity threshold for inclusion in the data set. So that to me says if they sell more than around 100, you're going to hear about it, and if not, then it's not in the set. Which,
yeah, I don't know their rates of selling hardware, but I mean it's high enough that I think people can at least glean some sort of information. It's just one data point, of course, but I think it's an interesting data point, especially like I said, considering that Puget really cares about stability and they don't push their stuff hard. So we know people like that who don't try to overclock anything or try to keep things.
Overclock any. I mean, I do RAM, I guess. But it doesn't count.
Yeah. So it's interesting. We just got a $10 super chat from Mick Caps. I don't know how to say it.
MQ Caps?
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to see RMA reliability data as who's best to call when your gear fails or needs repairs. Sometimes the less promoted brands give the best service. Yeah. True. Yeah.
And that's one of those things that's notoriously hard to like. I know over the years Gordon has wanted to do that, and it's just impossible to get a sample size unless you invest a ton of money in surveying. I want to say PC Mag used to do that in the old days, where they would send out an IT professional survey about which vendors were the easiest to work with for people who do this for work. Because like you get different service if you're on if you're a vendor contract with a big OEM and you're buying 3,000 machines a year than if you're a guy who buys a computer at Micro Center and then you have to call MSI and be like, hey, my computer's not working.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, though. I feel like even if you're surveying IT professionals, you're not necessarily going to get the information you need as a consumer.
Yeah.
Just because your leverage is different with the company.
Yeah. Well, and also it's lumpy. Like the support is lumpy. The good and bad is lumpy because like it could be that you call them and get a bad customer support rep and have a terrible time, and I call them and have a great customer support rep and have a great time. And like
could depend on the region.
How big a sample do you have to figure that out? Yeah, which region are you in? Are you getting what time of day are you calling?
Yep.
So which call center does it go to? It's really hard.
It is really difficult, and then that's why you have such wildly differing reports online for brand loyalty, right? I think of it very similar to, it's not the exact same thing, but similar to like hard drive failure rates, right? If you have a drive go down, you are never going to forgive that company if that was an important drive.
That's why I like the Backblaze data.
And so,
stuff,
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And so, but somebody else could have the exact opposite experience, and it just happened to be that you drew the short straw.
You lost the silicon lottery, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of the same way with customer service as a consumer. because you don't have that leverage to say like, hey, like we buy X number of units from you per year. You need to support this if they're failing.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was an interesting thing to read.
I actually did, to answer your question earlier, I had one thing that I saw that I kind of dug, which was the whole fact that it was Kingston's value RAM that won the highest reliability marks from them. This is coming from somebody whose first build was value RAM powered. So shout out to Kingston for making that affordable back in the day. And shout out to everybody who just needs something reliable and not pretty. It is green and black, and it is very obviously value RAM, not meant to be pretty. I don't know. I just really enjoyed that from an emotional perspective.
Yeah.
900% failure rate. That's pretty good.
Yeah. If you look at the photo, it is funny that they just put the photo of the RAM stick. They're just like, oh, yep. It is exactly what you think it is.
It looks like a line drawing almost.
Yeah. It is interesting too, though, to me that it was the desktop side where they took the crown, but on the laptop side they weren't quite as reliable.
I thought it was interesting that they broke out the different failure rates on SODIMMs, RDRIMMs, and UDIMMs, and that they were different. I thought that was really interesting, actually. I wish that they had broken out a little bit more what stuff they found during the building and testing phase versus what had to have failures later in life as RMAs. I think that's interesting data that I would have loved to have seen here as well.
Well, yeah, they're also not going back historically and being like, okay, how does this compare to
like how many 14900 RMAs did they do this year?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then sorry. I was going to say the other thing that I found interesting to me, just because, I was tracking that for a little bit in terms of, tracking other people's work on this power supply, where it said, oh, well, the Corsair SF1000 was one of the most reliable. And I was wondering, like, kind of to Will's point, who actually powers that? Like, who actually makes the power supply for them? Because a lot of these are like rebadges, right? They're just using
I thought
white.
Corsair does make their own.
I don't know if it's, but it depends. That's what I mean. It depends.
Yeah.
Like not some lines will be in house for depending on the manufacturer, but then other lines will be like a rebadged like Super Flower power supply, right? Which actually was the runner up. Like, it was actually badged as Super Flower, but they also make supplies. I think white box kind of a service for other vendors. So for me, again, like that would be just interesting to know who actually makes it. Because I think that tells you a little bit more about who's reliable in the field than it does, or just the one thing about power supplies is that it's so model specific too, right?
Yeah.
Because of this. So I don't know. I would have liked more data on that, just to know.
Yeah.
What? I think fundamentally one of the things that's really hard about being an enthusiast in this space is, and I think Mike hit this earlier, it's hard to separate anecdotes from data, and more people who are sharing data is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I fundamentally support sharing data because it's you get a lot of FUD and a lot of the vibes based rage baiting in the space, and like it's good to actually.
I mean, listen, if you've been burned by a company, let people know and be like, move on.
I have a friend who's never going to I have a friend who had a GPU conk out. I think it was a gigabyte. I'm going to put them on blast.
Boom.
Accidental blast, maybe.
I hope it actually was gigabyte. I think it was gigabyte. He got them to agree to an RMA for the GPU, and it was a nice GPU. It was like a 4080 when 4080s were like the second best GPU you could buy, right? And he sent it into them. Like a week and a half later, it came back, and they didn't say that there was something wrong. They just said, "Hey, it's fixed." They didn't say what was wrong with it. They didn't say what they did. They didn't say what the process was. I hate that. And he was like, I'm never buying anything from these people again, because like at no point, they didn't tell me they'd received it. They didn't tell me they'd sent it back out. They didn't tell me that they'd fixed it. All I got was the GPU back in the same box that I sent it in like 10 days later that suddenly wasn't crashing anymore. And I was like, that's a bad experience.
Yeah.
So anyway,
at
least they fixed it, I guess. But
did they fix it, or did they just give you a different one?
I mean, maybe.
Did he check the serial number?
Serial number is the same.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's fixed.
Yeah. Right.
I assume they just repasted it probably or something goofy, but yeah. Or they took the serial number sticker off the old one and put it on the new one.
That's what I wonder too, honestly. That's the thing too, though, because at the end of the day, it is more a reflection of the organization and management decisions when that happens, right? Because I mean, your standard rank and file technicians are probably just doing what they're told to do or doing the best they can given the volume of what they have to handle.
Yeah.
So
they're reading the stuff from the computer screen in front of them, right?
I was talking with somebody that is a friend of the show about building a new computer, and they are somebody who really cares about stability. And we essentially went down the path of Intel, because I've heard other reports too that Arod Lake has been old school Intel rock solid for a lot of people. I mean, so which is interesting after a hard whiplash after the Raptor Lake stuff. But
the thing we heard coming out of Raptor Lake and into the Arod Lake stuff was, hey, everybody's really focused on not doing this again.
Well, and sure, Arod Lake doesn't light the world on fire when it comes to bar charts, but it still runs cooler and uses less power.
I mean, that line's been about efficiency, right?
Yeah.
So the thing is,
which is a good thing.
Well, the thing is that when it launched, we were in a different era, right? We were watching the component wars battle it out, and so a lot of people like to see bigger bar better, right? They like to see the numbers go up, and because Arod Lake didn't do that, and the focus had been on efficiency and stability, they didn't get the dopamine hit they were looking for from those numbers.
Wait, have we moved from the bigger bar better into the just God please any bar at all era?
Actually, friend of the show, $60 Codger says stable bar better.
Oh, yeah,
I would say yeah.
Well, here's the thing too, though. If we're going to go on a slight tangent, I would rather keep my older hardware than upgrade to something newer that doesn't really even move the bar much at all. Because I mean, what kind of upgrade is that at that point?
I mean, unless it's a Raptor Lake and
stuff.
you're worried about it dying.
Yeah, like I would just run my stuff into the ground at that point.
True. Okay, anyway, let's move on over to what I'm calling a gear report. It started off as a keyboard report because we have some keyboard stuff to talk about, but then we realized through the course of the conversation that we've been testing a bunch of other accessories that I think we usually don't cover on the show because most of the time it's desktop hardware, but guess what? The desktop hardware stuff is
I mean, we can be plenty enthusiastic about it.
Yeah. But I mean, like,
or not. Kreider got some words for us.
I mean, well, there was a new report that Nova Lake might be pushed back till CES 2026. Like
27?
27, yeah. So it's just like, oh, okay. Well, in terms of CPUs and GPUs, and the super refresh probably being off, like this year, probably not a lot of
best CPU of the year, 9850 X3D.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, here's the thing: people got into keyboards during the pandemic because they couldn't get GPUs. Remember?
Yeah, well,
people desperately seeking hobbies.
Desperately seeking hobbies. They're like, I've got multiple hundreds of dollars to burn. You know what? I'm going to go down the keyboard rabbit hole.
I can only eat so much sourdough bread, y'all. I got to start soldering.
Dude, one of my friends gained weight from that, and he said, I got to find a different hobby. I can't do this.
You had to make it every 3 days. It was horrible.
Well, speaking of keyboard hobbies, Mike, when did you get into keyboards?
Oh, gosh. I think I got into it around 2015. And got into it where I could build stuff for myself, maybe 2018. I think that's about right, yeah.
So 10 plus years of boxes of keyboards.
We had this discussion in the pre-show. Yes, I've been through so many keyboards, both personally and professionally. Whoa, it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, you are our resident keyboard expert, as I would call
I am,
it.
yeah.
And you got in our chat when I was like, hey, is there anything else we want to cover on the show? And you're like, I just reviewed a keyboard that is the best, what would you call it, the best budget
right?
keyboard out there. Then tell us about it. What is this keyboard?
All right. Well, the review went up yesterday, and
link in the description.
Just for context, for the last 2 years, I've been recommending the G.Skill KM250 as the go-to budget pick, entry level. Like, hey, I just want to see what this mechanical keyboard stuff is about. That's the one you go for, because it's $40 to $45. It has hot swap sockets where you can pull the switches out and put them back in and try different stuff. And I think that's the most essential thing if you just want to play around with a mechanical keyboard. It is so easy and so fun to try different stuff. Well, I've got a new budget pick, and I saw it first at CES, actually, a little over a month ago. And it is the Ducky. Yes, that is the name brand, Ducky OK-M. And I've got it right here.
Ooh,
and this
it
is the
sounds
OK-M65.
Does it have a knob
Sorry,
for
what'd you say, Alaina?
$65?
Yes, it is.
And there's a duck on
not
the
only,
knob.
Not only do you get a knob, and it is an aluminum knob, real metal in there.
Wow.
It is wireless, so it has both Bluetooth and dongle-based wireless. It has PBT keycaps, which are the upgraded, nice kind of plastic in there. It has the hot swap sockets, and it has VIA programming, which is you plug it in, you go to a website, and you can program it on a standardized system and adjust everything you want in several layers, macros. It has basically everything you could want from a custom keyboard until you start getting into the super, super premium area. And you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know how to use a soldering iron to get the best out of this stuff. There's only a couple of downsides. One is that it's using very cheap switches. Not bad, but they're just kind of okay.
Are they like an in-house switch, or what is it?
Oh, no, they are, I think it's either TTC or KTC. Let me see here.
But like you said, you can swap them out easy, though.
You can swap them out extremely easily, yes. They are KTT brand switches, which is about as cheap as they come. And again, even switches have gotten much, much better at that level in the last few years. They're not bad. They're just a definite low point in the design. The other low point is that it has a 1,000 milliamp hour battery in there, specifically on the 65 model, the smallest one.
Wait, it's wireless too?
Yes. It is Bluetooth and dongle wireless.
That's amazing.
Actually, yeah, I was going to ask, because I know custom keyboard nerds love the coiled cable. Like, do you fall on the side of, I don't care about wireless, I'm going to coil it anyway? Or
I want wireless for everything.
Oh, you
which
do?
Which is one of the reasons I've been keeping an eye out for a budget upgrade, because the G-Skill is not wireless.
Oh, okay. So what? I mean, what kind of battery life do you think you can expect from that? It sounds not good.
For this, when I turned the lights off, I got a little under 2 weeks, which for a keyboard is not great. However, this is the OK-M65, 65%. It comes in 3 models. You've got this one, the OK-75, 75%. Obviously, it's the same size, just got a function row, and then the OK-M98, which is 98 keys. It's what they call an 1800 layout, which is not quite full size. But anyway, both of those larger designs get a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, which should obviously last a much longer time.
Cool.
And
interesting.
The pricing here at CES and before the review went up, I was told $65 to start. They had to bump it up a little bit. It's $69 and no cents, $69 flat, which I still think is pretty great. And you pay an extra $5 to $10 for the larger sizes.
I'm sorry, what was the price of your previous low budget pick, the G-Skill one?
The previous low budget one is around 40 to 45, depending on what day you get it on. But again, that's without the wireless. That's without the programming. I think it's a very fair trade to step up.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got my daughter a Cooler Master CK720, which is another 65%, but it's wired. It doesn't have the VIA programming. It does have better switches. They do Calebox, red, blue, and browns, I think. Depending on which one you pick, but that's a crazy good price for a wireless keyboard that's good. That's amazing.
It is. Yeah.
I guess I'm surprised that you're able to settle on one that you would say is the budget king. Because I feel like keyboards are so like people want so many different things from a keyboard.
And don't get me wrong, you can find cheaper keyboards with all of these features in them if you go on Amazon. I'd say you could get down towards the $50 level, but those are, the white box brands that I really wouldn't trust to spend money on. I certainly wouldn't recommend them professionally. Ducky it's a smaller brand, but it's a very reliable brand. It's based in Taiwan. And there are a lot of people who really like it and have liked it for a long time. The last time I reviewed it, I can't remember the exact model number. It was a couple of years ago, and I was like, they're asking a little too much for what they're giving you. This is a very clear budget play, and it's a successful one, I think.
Huh, nice.
It's cool.
Yeah, I dig it. You know what else is cool?
What?
Is gaming mice.
Yeah, you want to talk about the Logitech X2 Super Strike magnetic switch gaming mouse featuring HITS technology from Logitech?
My goodness, that's almost as bad
I'm sorry,
as a monitor
I didn't
name.
get that. Can you give it to me again?
It's the Logitech
spell
X2
out
Super
HITS.
Strike Pro gaming mouse featuring HITS technology, which is the haptic input translation system, I think is what it stands for.
Not
Transcription?
sponsored
I
by
don't know.
Logitech.
Can you
Not
translate all
sponsored.
those words into less words?
Yeah, so it don't have mechanical buttons.
Okay.
The switches, the thing that makes it click is a magnetic sensor, not a physical two pieces of metal.
So
touching.
that sounds extremely sensitive, potentially.
Well, so it can be. The interesting about it is the sensitivity is configurable. So we did a video about this.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. If it ever,
Well, no.
Okay, okay,
It
it's a
needs
whole-
to get posted.
okay,
Yeah.
sorry. There's a video
It's
coming.
done. It's done.
The point is, basically you configure. Let's harken back to the days of yore
Harken.
when all of our mice had balls in them, and those balls, when you rolled the mouse around on the tabletop, moved a couple of rollers, and those rollers typically had a big wheel with a bunch of slits cut into it, and there was a light that shone through those slits, and that light would trigger a photoelectric sensor on the other side of the thing when the wheel was spinning, and that was how your computer knew how fast the mouse cursor should move, right?
Okay.
So the resolution of those sensors was gated by the thickness of those slits, how small they could make the slits in the wheel, and it was a physical interface for physical movement into the computer. Now, in the late 90s, we switched to Microsoft rolled out this optical sensor, and that meant that all of a sudden, instead of the sensitivity of the mouse being tied to the slits cut in a wheel that rotated when you moved the ball, it was tied to like how high resolution the sensor was and how fast the sensor could update. And we changed a mechanical process into a silicon process. So this is a similar situation. They're taking out the little physical micro switches like are in joysticks or mice since the dawn of time. And instead of having a physical response, it detects when the plastic piece that is the mouse switch goes up and down and gets closer or further away from the board, to the tune of like a 0.3 millimeter throw for the whole switch, right? So, and you can set the actuation point for the mouse at different heights. Now, part of the problem with this is that with a physical mouse switch, you click on the button and you feel that click when the button triggers, right? That tells you, oh, I've pressed enough, I can let off now, and your brain just eventually knows, oh, I click it and it clicks, and I let off and I click it again. And if you're just using your mouse for like, browsing the web or whatever, there's not a high amount of precision in that. Now, if you're playing a game where you use semi-automatic guns or like you use automatic guns and the strategy is to tap, you want to minimize the throw on those switches, right? So you want to just barely graze the top of the switch so you can just tap and shoot incredibly fast. And the kind of so we're talking about mice here, 300 ZX Turbo. The point with this is you can control the actuation point. You can control how far up the switch has to go before it will trigger again. And you also can control the amount of the feedback you get when you click the switch. So if I realized you were going to be here, I would have brought it in this week because it's fun. It's fun to watch people's experience with this. Because when the power's off on it, it feels like nothing. It just feels like a mushy piece of plastic going in.
Yeah.
When the power's on, it feels like, I don't know if you've ever used one of those MacBooks that has the haptic trackpad. Alaina's making a face. But it's one of those things that, like, when we first got those into the tested office, we literally got out the high-speed camera and like tried to see if we could see it moving when we were pushing it, because it feels like there's a physical click switch happening underneath the thing. The same thing happens with your iPhone or your earpods. There's all sorts of places they do this. In the watch, it's in now too. And the point is, you can change the strength and intensity of that haptic feedback as well as the actuation point and the trigger point. That's all that's changing in this so far. I think the mouse is really good. It basically weighs the same thing as the Superlight 1, so it's a few grams heavier than their even lighter Superlight 2, but it has the same sensor. It's a crazy high 32,000 DPI sensor, like 8,000 hertz polling rate, all that kind of stuff. My one note is that I think that the haptic feels a little mushy compared to a good switch on the keyboard. So you don't get as clean hey, I pressed this with the haptic feedback as you do with an actual mechanical switch.
But
Go ahead.
it's essentially vibrating motor. So like maybe if they vibrate
It's a linear
too much.
actuator.
Okay.
So it's a thing. It's more akin to the thing that's in like a Switch Joy-Con or Switch 2 Joy-Con or like an Apple Watch or underneath the trackpad of a haptic trackpad laptop. So it can only move a bump in one direction, and that bump is against, I guess it's perpendicular to the direction of movement of the switch.
But maybe they can't bump strong enough.
They can bump way too strong, actually. Like the strength isn't a problem. The problem is that it's not like I want a sharper feel on it. So it feels a little bit mushier than, say, like you think about when you press a mechanical switch and you feel that click and you hear that click. And it may be that it's because I'm losing the sound because it's very, very quiet. You don't like one of the big benefits of this is that there is no sound from it at all, really. So it may be that the sound is part of it and like your brain is synthesizing the whole thing together. But to me, it felt mushier than a mechanical switch mouse.
So from hearing all of the description, it almost sounds to me that the primary benefit to a mouse like this is a game where the faster your reflexes are, the more you're rewarded for this because you can tune the mouse to be sensitive enough that if you can train your body to also be like light touch, that you can get a faster response out of the mouse to, get an advantage in games. What about the rest of us? What's the advantage for the rest of us?
So I think the training thing, I was surprised by how quickly I adjusted. Like the first thing I did was set it on the highest actuation point, so the least press actuation point, and the lowest bounce back, so I could tap as fast as possible.
Sure.
And then I went and loaded up arc raiders, where there are a variety of high, like as fast as you can click, it will shoot semi-automatic weapons that they've had to keep nerfing because people do things like bind the mouse wheel to shoot so that you can just spin the mouse wheel and it's through the whole magazine.
Wow.
I have found, like the first time I loaded up with my friends playing arc raiders and I pulled out one of the semi-automatic guns, everybody in the group was like, well, how the hell did you do that? Right? Because I was just, it was like I was playing DDR on or playing a track and field or something, just tapping as fast as I could. And I was able to manage the recoil and like, it was kind of compelling. I think if you don't play those kinds of games, or you're not playing like a Dota or StarCraft or something where you're doing like hundreds of actions, hundreds of clicks per minute.
APMs
actually,
matter.
that actually could work for a rhythm game now that I think about it.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you're not playing those types of games, it's less important, right? Like I think this is a specialized product for like the part of the reason I'm interested in looking at these kinds of things is because I feel like this is one potential future for technology to move. Like I think we're going to move increasingly, because the other benefit of this is that there's no mechanical components to break inside this thing. Like you're not going to get double taps after a million clicks because the switches break down, which happens a lot with especially Logitech mice from like, I think it's 2019. They were doing bad switches and all of like the original G Pro G502s from that era, they start double clicking after a year or two. So there's no the mechanical interface. The only mechanical interface is the plastic that holds the switch onto the mouse. There's no, there's just a magnet up underneath the button, and that when that moves, then that triggers the switch. I suppose the actuators could break too, but I think eventually we'll see this stuff as they start to ramp up production and the cost comes down, where this will be as inexpensive or maybe even cheaper than the mechanical switches and the infrastructure that comes with those.
What is the cost right now?
It's expensive. It's $180 for the mouse. Yeah.
I mean, it's a high end thing.
It is the same price as their premium mice have been for the last like 8 years.
Yeah.
So.
I'm not dunking on that. I just, as a very much normie who plays games that actually, so funny, as you were talking about this, funny story, I was playing Overwatch with friends and they just dropped 5 new characters, so we're in the practice range like testing them out, and I realized that my friends this whole time when they're shooting have just been holding down their mouse button.
Oh no.
And I was like, you can do that? Because I'm trained not to. I'm not trained like you. Yeah, you have to tap.
Yeah, tap,
and they
tap,
were
tap.
like, "You've been tapping this whole time." And I thought, I was like, "Oh, no wonder you can get off more shots than I can, because like you're not actually
You
having
gotta tap faster, Alaina.
I need this mouse, apparently.
You need this mouse. $180 to make you a pro gamer.
No, it's just like, what?
They're like, wow, you're tapping as fast as we hold down the button. Good job.
Yeah.
Not even that. I was like, oh, that actually explains a lot about what's happening here.
When I was playing Fortnite with my daughter and I realized that she was tapping each shot out, I've never been prouder. I was like, oh, Because like the reason you do that is because the recoil. So in most games, the recoil is different on the first shot than subsequent shots. Just to be clear, so the recoil bounces back into the exact same spot. So you shoot, the gun goes up, and then it comes back down into the same spot you started. And then the longer you hold that down, the more pronounced the recoil gets, and you lose control. And like Counter-Strike pros learn the recoil patterns for the guns that they prefer. So like a person who likes the AK will learn the pattern because it's a fixed pattern in that game, right? You just learn, you move the mouse down, left, right, down, up, left, right. And like you can hold it on the person's head indefinitely. Now that's a thing that like people who learn that skill, they drill that. It's like learning how to throw a javelin or something. You just repeat it a bazillion times until your hand just knows how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And the tapping is the counter to that. So you have less of a pattern to memorize. You just pull back into the exact same spot, and you can tap all day long.
This explains so much.
Mike, are you interested in this as a keyboard nerd?
Not at all.
Oh, wow. Why?
Well, I mean, keyboards have an equivalent. They have adjustable actuation with various mechanisms. The most popular is a similar magnetic sensor at the bottom of the switch. I've got a couple of keyboards here that do that same thing. I've tested, probably close to a dozen of those, and I have to try out this mechanism every time I do it. And I've tried it in video games. I've tried to get accustomed to it, even in a game like Fortnite, and I cannot make my brain work that way. I can't. It's a combination of my lack of reflexes or my lack of physical dexterity. I just cannot take advantage of that feature in the way that I play. I can't do it.
You're too old, Mike. Jeez.
That seems to be the case.
Get good. Nice. All right. Alaina, do you have any accessories you want to talk about? Bring to the class?
I actually, I feel bad because, I mean, at this point, it's like a 6-month review. I do have that split keyboard, that Asus.
Oh, the Falcata.
Yeah. And I actually know that Will was trying it out, and he had some thoughts. So I didn't know if we want to talk about that today or save it for some other time.
I like that. I was shocked by the Hall effect keyboard. The split is nice because I do, when I'm doing a lot of writing, I tend to prefer a split.
Mm-hmm.
Often I would swap out like my Keyboardio keyboard for my normal gaming keyboard. And the split is kind of the best of both worlds for that, because I can get my angle that I want when I'm working, but when I'm playing games, I just smash it together so I can access the H key with my left hand easily. I tried some of the Counter-Strike cheating stuff that the magnetic switches enable. Wooting and Razer did this at first. The Asus keyboard has a similar feature. That's called Snap Tap is the basic idea, and this is more esoterica of Counter-Strike we're going to talk about today.
Gather around, children.
But so Counter-Strike, if you're moving, your accuracy of your gun changes dramatically if you're moving at all. And Counter-Strike also has movement inertia because Source Engine had movement inertia. So what that means is when you're strafing to the right, you let off the keyboard. You don't stop immediately. For a few frames afterwards, you're still moving to the right, which means when you let off the keyboard, you have to pause before you start shooting, or your accuracy will be moving accuracy, not standing accuracy. Now, again, things that professionals learn how to do is that they will strafe right, and when they want to stop, they actually tap left for just one frame to dead stop them and counter that inertia, so they can shoot 2 frames before somebody who's still coasting on inertia. And it's a hard thing to do. It requires really precise timing. You get good at that over a period of time, but you're talking about a game that's running like 300 frames a second, and so those 3 frames are 1/100th of a second, and which is like an infinitesimal amount of time. The Snap Tap feature lets anybody do that after about 5 minutes of practice, because what it does is when you press a second key while the first key is still pressed down, it just cancels out that first key's action immediately. So as long as you let off the first key in the right period of time, you can dead stop in 1 frame every single time. And of course, Valve was like, hey man, you can't use these keyboards for this. You're taking the skill part of the game and making it a piece of hardware.
To be fair, it's a feature in the keyboard. You can still use the keyboard, just not the skill.
You have to turn off the feature. You should turn off the feature. Look, I'm all for technological assists and letting you press the clicky faster. Taking out a thing that takes hundreds of hours to learn feels like a feels like a cheat. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the equivalent of like an NFL wide receiver getting sticky gloves.
I think it's worse than that. I think it's like the sticky stuff in baseball, actually. Like because there was a period of time, 3 seasons ago, where baseball pitchers were increasing. Basically, if you can grip the ball better, and if you make the surface of the ball uneven in novel ways, you get different spin and more control over the spin. So the pitches were getting really, really nasty, and the breaking balls were really gnarly because like people were putting sticky stuff in the back of their hair gel, and they'd like scratch their head, and then they'd be like, "Oh, I can grip this ball like nobody you've ever seen," and you know. Anyway,
don't cheat, don't cheat, kids.
Yeah, but even without that, I love the variable height activation actuation on the magnetic switches. I think it is. It's let me. My fingers feel like they dance across this keyboard in a way that I haven't ever. Like I'm not as deep in mechanical keyboards as Mike is. Like I haven't built hundreds of keyboards, and I like pick switches based on how loud they are, not actuation depth or like feel or clickiness.
Aesthetics.
Yeah. So like I've never had things that trigger at exactly the actuation depth I like, and I love being able to dial in like 1/10 of a millimeter increments where that actuation happens on those magnetic keyboards. It is rad.
It is. I will say, I mean, all of this, I have notes. I just actually need to turn it into a write-up. Like I have like 6 months worth of notes. One of the things that I enjoy about it is that this is actually the keyboard that I've had to tent the least in order to feel comfortable. And I think it has to do with the fact that I'm using so little movement to type. There's not a lot of resistance. And so when you have more, the thing is, I learned how to type on a mechanical like typewriter.
Yeah.
So that was coded into my body, into like my muscle memory.
You gotta jam as hard as you can.
And then I graduated onto rubber domes, right? So that you still needed a certain amount of very like forceful.
You had to bottom them out.
Yeah, you did, right? So when you're doing that, like in order to do that comfortably, like getting closer to a neutral handshake position does feel much better. Whereas with these switches, like because that's really poetic, but also a very accurate way of saying it. Like when you're kind of dancing your fingers over it, just putting like the lightest pressure, you're not really activating as much in your wrists. So you're not really putting the same strain on them. And so I found that with this, I actually don't need to tent it quite as high.
Yeah.
Normally, like my tent is really much closer to handshake position. And on this, it's actually probably much closer to flat on the table than it is the other way.
I'm doing a negative angle like the old Microsoft Comfort Curve with the wrist rest.
That's weird for me.
But I also type a lot less than you do at this point, probably. I guess. So
yeah. But I will say it's still weird sometimes where like I just leave my hand on the keyboard, not even thinking. Also, I just see like like a string of like I had to. So one of the things I complained about early with this keyboard was that I don't know. I think it sounds like we'll adapt it much faster, but I did complain to Kreider like early on where I said like I don't know how to type on this thing. I keep making mistakes, and so I actually had to. One of the things this thing taught me, kind of similar to a manual typewriter, is that I had to go back to being very precise with my finger strokes. Like I couldn't just kind of sloppily like move the fingers around to hit, because when you're not bottoming out that key and it like does have that hair trigger sensitivity, because I preferred very light actuation or very minimal pressure, that you can't just kind of slide your fingers around because you might accidentally hit other keys while you're typing.
Well, for me, so one of the nice things is it has a knob on the side, a roller that you can kind of set to do different things like volume control, stuff like that. One of the options is that you can control the actuation depth across the whole keyboard. And when I was starting out, I started all the way at the top, which was a mistake for reasons that you mentioned, because like just breathing on it would make it fire off. I just knocked it down a couple of mils each time I would make some errors, right? And eventually I got to a point where, but it's funny because I'm making different errors than I've ever made before.
Yeah.
Right. I'm seeing like, I'll see like a graze on the side of like the 6 to the Y, something like that. I'll be aiming for the Y and I'll get a 6 as well. And like part of it is that the rest of the typing feels so good that that's a pretty infrequent error, and I'm kind of okay fixing it when I do it. But I'm still at the point where I'm not sure I'm like I think what I actually need to do is have a profile for when I'm playing games and a profile for when I'm working.
That's the thing I haven't done a lot of yet, because I'm not naturally a keyboard gamer. So for me, I actually don't really know how much more it improves on the experience for me. I will say that like all of my feedback right now has to do with just daily typing and doing a lot of typing for writing. But yeah, like I was just saying, like it does teach you not just how to be more precise, but where you're kind of like your little particular quirks are, where you're a little bit quote sloppier, end quote, about your typing.
It's in games. It's interesting because most games aren't set up in a way that rapid presses of those keys matters, right? So like if you think about how you play a shooter, it's you're using ASDW to move, and then there's some buttons around there probably to change weapons or lean or crouch or jump or slide, stuff like that. I will say I was able to hit the emote key really, really fast, so I could jam, so I could like take an emote that goes like this and just make it look like I was going like this.
Important situation here.
The one thing that's weird about these keyboards, though, I think, is that the keyboard selections are much, much more limited in general, and also because there's no haptic feedback, almost everybody's shipping linear switches. You can get some switches that have some sort of mechanical bump in them for booting and some of the other magnetic keyboards. But this one, there's only 2 switches, the ones that it ships with, and then there's another alternative that Asus has partnered with, and none of them have any kind of tactile bump at all.
Oh, I don't mind that though.
I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it as well, just because like I've never gone that far down the rabbit hole of different switches and getting that feedback. Like I like the sound of certain switches, kind of how you said earlier. So where you're talking a bit maybe to the dirty unwashed masses here, Kreider. But yeah, I actually think it has a really pleasant sound profile too. So like it's just very pleasant using the keyboard. I could use a little quieter.
I thought about putting some washers up underneath the switches.
I'm not hitting the keys that hard, so for me it's more like kind of like a light pattering kind of sound for me. The one thing that I don't like, and I do need to play around with the configurations more, but for whatever reason, I always keep hitting that stupid Copilot button. Like that's my number one hated thing about this thing.
It.
I know, but I still hate that I hit that.
It's also weird to me that you can't, at least you might be able to do it in Armory Crate, but I'm mostly working in Linux. So I'm using the web interface for the controls, which, by the way, web interface for controls. Mwah.
Yeah, no, I like that too.
You can't change the colors. You can set the colors for the whole device, but I can't say like only highlight the keys that I use for this game, and I can't even set that manually and then change to it manually. It's just always it's all everything's red, or everything's a rainbow pattern, or everyone's whatever. It's fine.
I do like the key bindings though, and I do like the layering on it, because I'm able to basically I approximated like a numpad on one of my layers, so that I can do things like M dashes and N dashes and the fancy things that make people think that I'm AI now.
The VIA programming, like I had that on my drop control keyboard, and I do miss that because it's an incredibly powerful thing that like you don't have access to if your board doesn't support that.
I guess another thing about it that I'm just doing, I guess, an on-air review here, is I don't love the keycap profile.
Oh.
Yeah, just because I rearranged some of the keys. And so you'll see photos of this when I did it, because I didn't love how they did like the home and like page up, page down ordering and like insert delete. So I moved and I remapped the keys. But the thing is, the keycap heights are set because it's a certain profile. I think I actually did talk to you about this, Kreider, too, in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I've gotten used to it, but it's just a little weird because
it's like a up higher.
Yeah, because you can't really go by feel as much, because like the keys are no longer in the like the proper heights. So I kind of wish there was an option for being able to rearrange the keys without necessarily sticking out like a sore thumb that you did. And I did look into.
You can switch to a DSA or an XDA or something similar that's a consistent profile across all the keys.
I did look for that, but I also was just not really happy with the options I saw either. There's actually not a lot of, I think, DSA full keycap sets out there, and the ones that are, they're quite expensive for what I wanted to spend. So yeah,
I overall I'm really excited about this. I kind of want to explore more magnetic switch keyboards. I don't love the layout on this one. Like I like a TKL with the full home insert delete block.
Yeah.
Because I do use those a lot. And the way that this is laid out, I've gotten used to, but it's not my ideal.
Yeah.
I also would rather have a knob than the roller thing. I like a knob.
Yeah. I would say for a mass market sort of approach, this is quite excellent out of the box. And I love that it is an option similar to the Keychron, was it Q11? Just that you don't necessarily have to go all the way into, building your own, configuring your own, looking up the more esoteric split keyboard options out there for mechanical keyboards. I haven't looked at ASUS's pricing recently. Like the launch price was a little bit high, but I don't know if they've come down closer to like the mid 200, low 300
don't come
range.
down anymore. It's not what they do.
They did for a little bit, so I'll have to go back and look. But I'm before all of this stuff started blowing up around pricing within PC gaming, I was hoping to see this spread more as a concept, but now I don't know if that's going to happen.
I really hope that people can stabilize on magnet position, because everybody's doing slightly different magnet position inside the switches. Just because like there's no electrical connection between these switches and the keyboard. It's really weird. It's just like 5 plastic posts and no wires in or out, because it's just the magnet moving that triggers it, right? And if they all sort of standardized on where we put the magnets inside the switches, then it would mean that, hey, we could all use the same switches in all of the different keyboards, and that's what's made like the Cherry MX compatible switches has made mechanical keyboards a thing. So
That is something important to note about all of the Hall Effect keyboards. Even if they do offer a hot swap option, you are severely limited in what switches you can swap out with, because they are mechanically different. There isn't an electrical connection. It is not the EMX standard, or even there's 2 or 3 low profile standards that have lots of great options. But if you go for a Hall Effect keyboard, I'd say like you get a maximum of maybe 6 or 7 different switches you can choose. And even that's only the Gaterons, I would say.
Look, I spent some time on Reddit, okay, for both this and the mouse thing. There's a weird contrast between the r/mouse review people, where they're like dremeling off the back half of mice and doing all sorts of weird mouse science. And it's like, hey, what can we do for the least amount of money possible? And it's like, find your buddy with a 3D printer and get him to print this frame, and then take the board out of this mouse that you like and cut the battery portion off of it.
So you're just Frankensteining all of it.
They literally are, yeah.
Okay.
And then the keyboard people who are like, yes, I spent $465 on these limited edition keycaps with Gandalf and the 12 dwarves from The Hobbit on them. And it's like
12?
I don't know how many hobbits there are, man. I'm not. Who cares?
It's a mashup of Snow White and
whatever.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
the new collab.
63
Just
dwarves,
dropped.
Okay? But the point is, the keyboard people spending some cash, and the mouse people are like, I'm going to go get something from the dump and make it good. Yeah.
That's funny.
It's because they spent all the money on the keyboard.
No, the mouse people don't like the keyboard people.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Looking up pricing, Best Buy has the Falcata on sale for $350, and DoorDash. You can DoorDash it from Best Buy.
Well, can you get them to stop at the Burger King on the way back?
Yeah,
get you a Whopper as
why not?
well?
Yeah. I mean,
2-hour delivery, $5.99 extra.
$350 is not cheap. It puts it in the range of some of the.
It's like a keyboardio price.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I do like that it is actually a more, in my opinion, normal size, because a lot of the split keyboards too really tend to optimize for people who are like developers, or people who like 40% keyboards. Like it's really cut down real tight, and it doesn't work for me as well as just a standard writing, editing type person who does need, a home row and all of that stuff, function keys.
The Keyboardio, the Model 100, which is their like premier, it's a wooden split. It's a lovely keyboard.
Yeah.
But it's ortholinear, so the keys are in columns rather than
and that's a little
staggered,
strange for me too.
It took some learning.
But yeah.
They have a ortholinear compact that's not. It's like a grid. It's not.
So for audio listeners,
not an ergonomic one now.
Will's face is just lit up with excitement, and next to him, Adam's face is just confused.
Look at that thing. That's disgusting.
It's a weird.
Can you show the nice people?
That's
I mean,
disgusting.
we'll see it from here.
You don't want to see it.
No shame.
Okay.
No keyboard shaming on this show, Adam.
Look, some people like weird things. It's okay. We're not here to shame someone.
Speaking of 300,
Look, this person has a trackball next to their thing.
That's not even
clearly
that's
weirdos.
not even a good trackball. It's a crap trackball.
Wow.
You know what
Violent
else?
show today.
You know what else you can get for $300 that is weird?
Yeah.
This headset.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it a headset? I always see
What-
headphones.
So seriously though, why is the top part of that just so tall from your head? So audio listeners, Adam is wearing a pair of headphones that have not just gigantic ear pads, but it's that style where I think it's called like suspension style headphones,
like
right?
suspension bridge. Kind of.
Yeah, so the part that's
put your-
actually nestled against Adam's hair looks normal, but the bridge part above it has got a solid like 2.5 to 3 inches of airspace.
Well, that's only because I'm pretty low on it. Like, I guess I just have a really
low crown?
flat head. Yeah, like, you know, if I were up here, it wouldn't look as weird, but my ears are tall, maybe.
Those headphones are really large,
I mean,
though.
I think there is going to be a population where you said like maybe they have like a tall forehead, like they need that height. But for me, as someone who used to review headphones with my size body and like skull, cranium, there were so many headsets that were oversized that were already like normal for people of your build, like you and Will, that
Look.
just looking at that on you is just extreme to me.
I tested a 5.1 or 7.1 headphone set that actually had 7 speakers inside each one time.
I had bought one of those.
Yeah. And like, it was big even for me. And this is bigger than that. How do they sound?
Well, that's physically though.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about the Asus ROG Cathara gaming headset.
Yeah.
So this is in partnership with Hi-Fi Man. Sorry,
Okay.
not Hi-Fi Man.
Hi-Fi Man?
Hi-Fi. No, Hi-Fi Man.
Heefy?
Hi-Fi Man. Yep, there we go. Nailed it. So essentially, these are audiophile grade headphones, but for gamers.
Okay.
Right? Because there's
They don't have any LEDs on them, though.
Are they open ear?
they are open back.
Okay.
I am huge open back proponent for a lot of reasons. Not for this podcast. It does not work well with
You like bleed through?
sitting here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not even the
Oh, you're
the
hearing
bleed
us
through.
twice.
Yeah, I'm hearing you twice.
Yeah, that
especially
sucks.
him because he's further away from
Yeah.
me. So I only brought it in today for to show it off. But yeah. So the outer design of it, because like I shared these in our audio channel, or we have an audio video channel in Discord, and there was definitely a lot of thoughts in there. We got a lot of people who care a lot about headphones. And one of the things they said beforehand was like, okay, it'll be really interesting to see who they get to review these, because that's who they're trying to target, which they're trying to target gamers, like the high end, I guess, gamers who want high end audio.
I mean,
So like you sit in that cross section.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, for me, it's a really nice confluence of taste kind of thing. It's not for
So
everybody.
fancy.
I mean, same thing with like keyboards. Like headphones are actually, there's not a one size fits all. Like different head shapes, different design aesthetics. Yeah, this feels less gamery. No RGB, but I mean it still has an obvious Asus or ROG logo.
I'm sorry
on the
to inform
side.
you, they look still like gaming headphones.
yeah, they look like gaming headphones, too.
I know, but not. I would not say these.
They have expensive cords.
Yeah, no, I actually
makes them
disagree.
expensive?
Like if you go into
It's, like,
anywhere and
twisted.
look at gaming headsets, they do not look like this. Like they're usually bulk plastic with a bunch of RGB and
Well, I'm not
like
saying
have a big
it
boom
looks like
mic
the
and-
typical
yeah.
one, but it does not look like to me like pure audiophile.
Oh, well, no,
headphones.
that's why it's a cross.
Yeah.
Like it's definitely not a.
How do they sound, Adam?
Well, but first I want to talk about feel, because
Okay.
this is the thing
No.
I think I differ from a lot of people, is that like even in the box you lift it off and the first thing you see is one of those welcome cards like, oh, you've bought into the Republic of Gamers, whatever, and then it has a printed sound chart of the pattern of these
The
exact
curve, the
headphones.
curve
Yeah,
representation.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but essentially they measured it, printed it on this card and put it
This
in
is
here
like
and was like,
learning
hey,
the name
here's
of the chicken that laid your eggs for brunch at Portland bruncheries.
pretty much. And I'm like, okay, that's great. And then there was a lot of discussions about sound profile and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but at the end of the day, I don't care how it sounds if
Wow.
they don't feel good to wear.
Well,
Because
yeah.
even if it's the most amazing sound ever, but they are not fun to wear, then I'm just like, nah, I'm
I mean,
out. I don't
you
care.
care, but
Yeah.
it's not your top priority because
Yeah,
you have to be
yeah.
able to wear them, right?
So that's why I kind of want to start with feel. And I would say usually the upsides for having this kind of situation where the ear pads or the ear cups are very large, comically large, and also the suspension system is that like this just sits on I could wear this for like 8 hours and not have a single issue. Like
your ears don't touch the inside.
My ears aren't touching the pads. They do come with 2 different kinds of pads. This one is the one that has like
spacious.
Soft padding.
Chunky.
Yeah, so like very very soft, but there's one that doesn't have the what is that? It's like a pleather kind of like however you
vegan
describe
leather
it.
is the classy way you say leather now.
Yeah, okay. And also this top part that sits on your head is very wide.
Are these
so
replaceable?
The pressure
User replaceable?
The pads are. I actually don't know about these.
Like
it looks like they're screws, so I'm going to assume something can be replaced. And then so the most of the structure is across the band.
Yeah, the memory.
It's kind of like two
metal.
separate things that are holding it in place, and this does feel really good.
And user replaceable cords, it looks like. Which
Well,
is nice.
yeah. So it has options for the cords. It actually comes with 2 of them. This one it has a termination that you can change. Right now, I have the 1/8 inch, but it has a little locking screw mechanism. It's got balanced 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch included, but you can switch to another pair of wires that have a built-in boom microphone kind of thing, and that terminates into 1/8 inch. So one for mic, one for sound to help with the cross bleed or whatever. There's definitely some downsides to this, but I would say one of the most major upsides is like just wearing it. Like these do feel like I have a very expensive. The ones I use at home are the Sennheiser HD 800S, I think is the number. And those are very expensive. And those things I could wear for eternity without an issue. And these are not close, but they're close-ish. I think the biggest downside, unfortunately, is the clamping force, because you don't want too much clamping force, but you also don't want too little, because then it just kind of like dangles kind of thing.
Clamping
like,
force is the amount that it pushes in on your head.
Yeah, and like these are, but that's another thing that really depends on your head shape and like how big your head is and stuff like that. So like
whether you wear glasses or not has an impact,
right?
Like that.
Yeah. So this is close, but I think the Sennheisers beat it in the clamping force. But the pads are huge, and I mean the whole thing overall doesn't weigh that much.
Sennheiser, can I try them on?
Go for it.
Sennheiser has always made pretty comfortable headphones.
Yeah.
Wow, it's like I'm getting full room noise through these.
So that's the thing. I love open back.
Oh, God,
like I am 100% into open back, especially for gaming. I mean, but work. Like I started them with work, and then for gaming, I just like feeling you're more immersed in it. It's less that you have speakers literally sitting next to your head, and it's more like, oh, the audio is just coming at you.
It makes you feel like it's
else.
ambient sound as opposed to piped sound.
Absolutely. No, I want a complete isolation from the world. I want my wife to walk up behind me and touch me on my shoulder and me to scream because I didn't hear her walking up behind me.
Would you mix on those, Adam?
Oh yeah. Oh, easily. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing for audio engineering kind of stuff. Like you also wanted to not just feel like it's speakers right next to your. Well, I mean, maybe you do sometimes. I mean, it depends on who you're mastering for, right? Kind of thing. But I like the open nature of it because it just feels more natural. And once again, like it just kind of melts onto my head, and it's not heavy, and it's just like, oh, I can hear the world around me. I'm not enclosed in. But I'm somebody who I wouldn't call it claustrophobia, but it's like I don't like to feel closed off anyway. So like I just always like open back to the point where I don't like. A lot of people love IEMs where it's the the in-ear monitors kind of stuff, and I'll use them for work. Back when I used to shoot video at a trade show, it's like, okay, well, you're at a trade show, you literally need to hear what you need to hear, but I don't like feeling that feeling. So yeah, open back for me. The sound, like, I mean, open back naturally does not have great bass response because it's opened. It's not able to get all that pressure built up kind of stuff, but that's okay. Like I'm not a huge bass heavy person anyway. Like I'm
not listening to Bass Jams 2015.
I mean, I could,
edition.
but you're just not going to get that. You're not going to feel that low end kind of thing.
You got to put the butt kicker on your chair.
Yeah, there you go. It's and these also do use planar magnetic drivers. So instead of the typical kind of like cone magnet design that are like speakers and headphones kind of thing like this, these are like 2 sheets of of some sort of metal that vibrate to push the air.
Fiber or something.
Yeah,
right?
so it typically it's less distortion, depending on what you're doing, whatever. But for me, like, yeah, these are great. I think really the biggest downside, like the headphones themselves, between the fit and the sound, awesome. I dig them. For me, it's actually the cabling, because my Sennheiser 800, the HD 800S, whatever, has a cable that's like 9 feet long. And so I actually snake it up around to my DAC that I have on my desk, and like I've got plenty of room, and that feels nice. This is, I don't know how long this is, but this feels like normal gamer headset length. And so,
yeah, that's much shorter.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I can't snake this around my desk. I have to plug this into my DAC like this, and it's like, okay, well, where do I put it? Do I put it over my keyboard? Do I put it like between my keyboard and my trackball? Like, I have not been able to find a good spot for it, and yeah, it's just not. Yeah, I don't like that, and also because I'm a controller gamer, I want to plug it in. Which the controller doesn't necessarily drive it that well, but it's fine, whatever. I'm not a competitive gamer anyway. But if I want to use my headset, I have to switch over to the one that's split, and controllers don't have split for that. So, I don't know. This is a me problem, but I think most people who are sitting at a desk like are going to find that this cable length is just way too short. I don't know. I don't know how people manage.
I'd rather have it too short than running under the chair wheels, though, and getting all jacked up that way.
Gotta route it.
Well, but you can, you route it, you put it up,
I don't believe in routing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't know. I just something about the
Man.
cable length. Also, this cable is like hard braided, where the other one is like a soft braiding, so it's actually kind of
it's like it's
a little different.
Woven.
Yeah, there's a term for this. I don't know if woven is it, but yeah, I don't know. The cable situation is the biggest downside for me. So. Yeah.
I have a question for
How
you.
much are those?
$300.
Sorry.
Yeah, you first.
Oh, that's
$300.
Yours is relevant to his actual thing.
Okay.
If anybody's curious, Mike did a video on this that we published on Sunday.
Oh yeah. On a short video,
Yep.
you were talking about the announcement. Yeah, it actually got announced like a month ago, but reviews didn't really hit till like last week. So yeah, I definitely want to do one of those like, oh hey, I've used it for a month kind of thing, and hear my thoughts kind of. So a lot of good reviews out there, but.
Oh, so I have a question for you as someone who has probably undoubtedly used 1 million headsets at this point.
1 million.
And since we've been talking about customization and fine-tuned customization, why has no one yet solved the issue of adjustable clamping force?
All the good material science people go make either makeup or work in the space program.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
So
change
one or the other, very binary.
Yeah.
You can change the clamping force depending on the padding, right? So like the Sennheisers that I have like actually come with a very thin padding, and I actually tried to upgrade to something that had a little bit more padding, but then the clamping force was too much for me. So I think that's really the only way you can get around adjustable clamping force is to like increase or decrease the padding. But then it depends on the headset, because it has to be replaceable. So.
I often replace the ear cups on my headsets because I want a little more force because I have a skinny but tall head.
I don't know. To me, it always seemed like it could be solved mechanically, right? Because the tension comes from like the shape of the material and the materials, right? And how much resistance they have.
And the weight.
And yeah, that too. So it seems like, I mean, it probably would make it much more expensive. I understand this. Outside of that as an issue, it just seems like they could design it in a way that you could make small adjustments.
You need like a C-clamp.
You want a little spring
thing.
in there with an Allen wrench and adjust the Newton force on each one.
A little bit, like kind of how we have like gas monitor arms, and you just like crank it a certain way.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I
the
guess
resistance you need.
So Nonekin makes a good point. You can bend them until they're loose enough. I mean,
I have done that.
technically, like
But you can't bend them back as easily.
Well, you could.
Well, Davina says Grado actually recommends bending their headbands to fit your taste.
I do also like that you can fold them flat.
I love a fold flat for carrying them
transport.
around.
Yeah. But yeah, I have done things like that where I'll like leave a pair of headphones because I often have the problem that with clamping force is too strong. So I've done things where like you take like one of those like, I don't know what you call them, but where you
Yeah,
put
milk
wigs
jug
on.
is what I
You put
use, yeah.
wigs on them, like
Oh,
they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
shaped like
Head
heads,
dummy.
or you just find like a particularly overstuffed like chair arm, and you just like kind of just leave it there for a week or so and hope that helps with the tension. But I just wish that there was a more fine-tuned way of doing it.
The big one for me is I like to have side channel, so I hear myself talking in my headphones because I
side
do
tone,
both
yeah.
ears. I can't. My ears get cold in the open back headphones. I like a warm ear. I get like my ears to be all sweaty.
No, I hate
steamy in there.
I hate that.
I got a steamy ear situation.
Sweaty ears. Are the
Wow,
worst.
I don't know if we were
You want
supposed to
two little
learn these
saunas on the
things.
side of your head.
Yeah, but the thing that I find is that I really want to have wireless headphones since I'm at my desk a lot and I want to be able to get up and walk around and not have to take the headphones off every time because I often forget and then rip them out of the wall. Hardly anybody makes headphones that have analog ins that don't add too much latency in the encoding and transmitting analog the audio across the analog to digital encoder and then across the wireless so that the side tone is too late. There's one set of Steel Series, the Noctis Pro something or other. It has a little dock that you can plug an analog in, and it's still a little bit reverby. Like it sounds like you have a little bit more reverb on you than you want, but you can turn it down and get just enough side tone that it doesn't make me crazy when I'm talking into a microphone. But yeah, like wireless. We have the technology to do basically zero latency wireless audio transmission now, and I don't understand why that's not come to the analog in world, except for only weirdos use it.
Well, it's either that or maybe price. Maybe they just think it's not worth putting it in for the small
They
people.
just released a fancy version of that headset that has some sort of special drivers. It's like $800. So
I mean,
going after the audiophile wireless headphone gamers.
Yeah. Now, there's definitely a lot of talk about driving headphones, which if you don't know, it's like, I mean, it's using.
You're not supposed to wear headphones when you're driving.
Okay,
Adam.
yeah. If they're open back, I can hear fine.
It's against the law in a lot of states. You're going to go to jail.
True. Okay. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that, kids, and don't drive drunk. PSA. So I have a shit stack on my desk.
Language.
Nope, that's what it's called.
Beep.
It's literally the name of the company. Shit's spelled differently. But yeah,
Is it German?
Yeah, so I have a shit stack.
Beep.
How's it spelled?
SCHITT.
Beep.
And anyway, I've tried it a bunch of different ways. Motherboard audio, controllers. I tried it a bunch of different controllers. Tried it off different handhelds. And yeah, the thing is, if you don't have enough power to drive it, then you're going to have to crank the audio to try to get something out of it. And you also don't get as much dynamic range. I actually don't think it's as bad as a lot of the reviewers are saying. Like, I was surprised at some of the controllers and my handhelds, which don't have amazing like DACs on them. Yeah, like but they're enough to drive it. I'm not having to crank it all the way up just to get anything usable out of it. But then again, maybe I also listen to stuff quieter than most people. Like I'm if there's a theme here, I'm not trying to cover my ears and blast my ears out. So maybe it's just the way that I use stuff too.
I think a lot of people listen to music much louder than they probably should.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it definitely should. If you're going to spend $300 on this, you should probably try to pair it with some sort of nice deck as well. I mean, you know how I feel about motherboard audio, but yeah, we don't have to get
It's
down
great, and everybody should just use it without thinking about it.
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
we do have a couple quick super chats. Skeet Sayer gave us 2 more Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. So if you like reggae, get the Creative Stage V2. I think, is that the sound bar? I think that I can't remember what that is. And then 5 more Canadian dollars. Thank you so much. Said, if you want real audio, get an old receiver with Toslink support. The audio will be stellar. Yeah.
We have a couple other ones from Skeet Sayer that we haven't mentioned either.
Did I miss? Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
Thank you, Skeet Sayer.
Yeah. 5 more Canadian dollars. Said, failure rates are probably higher as none of these GPU brands are good with RMA unless you live in Taiwan. This was back to our earlier reliability discussion. Sorry. 2 more dollars. I love TV crosshair support for Division 2. Nice. And then 5 more dollars said, I would like to give the Corsair Nautilus some love too. They have cool high power chips, so that's nice screw retention design. Of course, they're Nautilus. I don't know what this
Power
is.
supply.
Nautilus. Or no, I think it's a
AIO.
cooler. Yeah, AIO. Huh, interesting. Okay. Anyway, yeah. I love audio. I do love chatting about this stuff. I use a lot of different stuff. It just like I think it's hard because I have a unique kind of taste, and I really do care about like how things feel more so than the actual like audio quality.
I really enjoyed
yeah.
it too, but I hope that you can control your potty mouth next time.
I'm sorry.
Well, there goes all our sponsorships,
I'm very disappointed.
except maybe from them directly.
There you go. Anyway, we should get to Q&A, but we're already 2 hours in, so maybe we will...
There's a handful of questions.
It's just baby's handful, maybe.
Babies.
Just a baby's handful of
Is a
questions.
baby's handful like 2?
I mean, it's small. Baby hands are small.
Baby can take, like, you give baby a bag of Cheerios, they can go ham on that thing.
Okay.
But you give them a couple of, like,
I mean-
Brontosaurus steaks, they're only going to pick up one, maybe.
Adam's right, though. Like, the surface area in a baby's hand is not very large. However, their grip strength is incredible.
Yeah.
One
and
rip a chunk of
needles.
beard out one
yeah,
time.
there you go. Anyway, if you got a question, get them in now, but we'll probably won't get to them. Better
Wow.
to get
We
into...
will get them to them eventually.
Well, not if you get into the live chat right now.
Oh.
Yeah, because we need to get out of here.
Adam's ignoring the live chat
Go.
questions,
Hold on.
everybody.
I'm trying to.
There's a lot of
hit the
touching
link
going on
in
here.
the Discord. There's a full nerd Discord. We have an awesome community over there, and we also have question channels. The top one is TFN questions. If you want to ask a question that hopefully we will read on the show, then put it in. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to it on the next one. Ivan R has a funny question. Is it safe to pick up a rented PC off the floor? Okay. Nope.
I mean, you
guess
can
not.
pick it up. I don't know if you want to plug it in.
There you go. Magical Flying Fox. Do we have a new PC World link for the weekly newsletter yet?
No.
I can make one if you want real quick.
No.
Nope.
From actual PCWorld.com.
Actually, PC World official shortened link.
It should like I want PCWorld.com/TFN. I think that should do it. That'd be easy, right? Anyway.
TFNN.
TFN is probably for
TFN
something
news.
else. Here,
I
I'll
don't
make
know.
a better short URL.
I don't even remember what that one was.
I can't remember either.
Anyway, here we go. Friend of the show, Floor Candy asks, should NVIDIA be blamed for forsaking gamers, or should Radeon be blamed for not trying hard enough? Why not both? I'm just kidding.
I agree with what you said.
yeah. I mean,
Just echo
Sorry, there's not
of
much to say about
nothing.
here. Okay, you know what? The problem is some of these are deep enough that I want time to go into them.
Yeah, and I think some of them, like the graphics
Yeah.
card question, would be good to have Brad here for.
Yeah, actually, here's one that kind of piggybacks off of our Discord discussion from last week, because I think a lot of people have been talking about this. Raving Grob asks, in the latest episode, you considered moving community away from Discord. Y'all, would you all be on board for setting up a Matrix community and bridging rooms so that the transition would be smoother? I don't know about this Matrix thing.
Yeah, we actually chatted in a thread a little bit about it, and I said that I would look into it. My concern is splitting the community between two platforms. I think for my preference, and obviously this is not just only my decision, but my preference is that if we're going to move, it should be like picking up everything and moving over, as opposed to having, multiple spots where people are having conversations, which is harder to, really foster community.
Yeah, and also I think at this point we're also at a little bit of a wait and see pattern, because if they do institute stuff in a way that we do not appreciate, then then we're out. But right now it's still a little bit up in the air, I guess. I don't know.
The thing that you can do with this, the thing that they're suggesting, is bridge the two channels so that they get basically mirrored from Discord to Matrix and Matrix to Discord.
I see.
So if you post in Matrix, it just shows up as Matrix user Bob posts in
Oh,
his channel, which kind of is the best of both worlds, but also seems a little bit fiddly and like the kind of thing that Discord's going to turn off at some point in the future when they're like, hey man,
Well,
nobody's buying Nitro.
but also, I mean, if the thing is that we don't want to support Discord, then
Right.
we wouldn't be on there.
Yeah.
And it's worth mentioning that Discord has already backed down from the Peter Thiel associated.
Publicly.
They've said, hey, we're not going to do this one. And
they just, I think a couple of hours ago, they just kicked the can down the road to later in 2026 before they're going to finally implement this. So it's not a right away thing, but I can certainly understand why people are upset and concerned.
Yeah.
I think it's unfortunately one of those things where if the community has decided they're going to stay there, then, you do your best to make it work. Like there are some things that I do not related to work that have to happen over Facebook. I don't love it, but I just personally try not to post too much personal stuff on there, and I try not to have their apps on my phone and that kind of thing. Hopefully, hopefully it's not going to get to a point with Discord where we have to make those kinds of decisions. But I would say, just as a general note, not even related to our server, if you are concerned about the data that Discord has on you, then you may want to either like purge your account, like maybe delete messages, whatever, or do what you need to do for your own privacy and security. And like for us, we're going to monitor the situation and decide what that works best for us as a community, so that we can allow people to participate in a way that feels comfortable for them, but also doesn't like split our group or make it hard for us to stay connected to each other.
My daughter's friends have started posting about things that their parents are into to try to make their profiles seem like their old person profiles.
They're like, wow, I really love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
And Blink-182.
Can't believe they're bringing back Janko jeans.
Hey, look, here's a bunch of bad AI memes. Oh, no, you showed too far. You're too old. That's obviously fake.
Check out this translucent plastic technology device.
Yeah. Hey.
Who
wants
I love it.
Who wants a sick GameCube, y'all?
Yeah.
Bring back the Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I miss ICQ.
Smash Brothers on the 64 was peak Smash Brothers. Yeah. These are all things that'll get you past the age verification.
Yeah.
You know what, though? If this ends up driving all the kids back to actually connecting in person as humans, maybe we've actually done our job here.
I really love the Strokes.
Anyway, all right, check back next week for your fix of PC talk here on The Full Nerd. If you want to watch us live even, then go over to YouTube, subscribe to The Full Nerd Network. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers. PCWorld hit 400,000.
That's amazing.
Recently, so congratulations to us.
We're 1/40th of a PC World over here now?
Something like that.
Okay.
So at The Full Nerd Network has not only The Full Nerd that we stream live on Tuesdays at 11-ish. Actually, we're talking about maybe going back to the old 10:30 a.m. Well, I'll give people plenty of heads up before that. But we also have the Dual Boot Diaries, where 2 longtime Windows users learn to use Linux daily. And I can finally say, I'm going to say it right here. Are you ready? This Thursday drops the new podcast about handhelds between me and Russ from Retro Game Core. It's going to be every week, and it's called Expedition:handheld.
You spell out the colon, or you just use the signal?
No, you don't say the colon. You just think about the colon.
Okay.
Yeah. So
this is the 26th of February. It's coming out.
Is that this Thursday?
That's this Thursday.
You're
that is this
against,
Thursday. Yes, in 2 days.
You're competing against Bridgerton. I hope you win.
Bridgerton? Oh no, crap. Okay, we're gonna delay the launch. We're delaying the launch. So yeah, we do have the RSS feeds up, but I need to get episode 0 in there. So by the time that this goes out, you should be able to subscribe for audio listeners. But then also we have the video version, which will be on the Full Nerd Network. So we're going to launch with a trailer that is cut by one Alex that it turned out really good. Fun time. It's the full trailer of Russ and I meeting in the desert. It was fun. And then we also have an episode 0 to just populate the feeds and stuff like that, where Russ and I talk about why we're doing this and what we're doing and kind of getting into deeper detail. And then episode 1 hits on Saturday. This Saturday.
Wait, I thought it was February 26th. It was on.
26 is episode 0. Episode 1 is the 28th. So
only 2 days. So
So because Saturday is when we're going to post this going forward. So episode 0 is just kind of the launch, but 1 hits on Saturday. So, and I can tell you, I got some exclusive information this morning that we will be talking about on the show.
Oh, you look very happy about this.
Yeah, I reached out to some vendors about something happening in the handheld space, and I got exclusive information.
Drops.
So be ready for it. Be ready for it. Anyway, but But if you want to listen to the audio version of the Full Nerd, any of these podcasts, we are literally on every RSS feed out there. More importantly, if you want the hottest takes from Alaina E in your inbox on Friday so you can yell at your computer screen, then go to
tinyurl.com, the Full Nerd newsletter. I was gonna make it be.
Wait, that's longer.
It's way too long.
That's longer.
And you have hyphens in there too.
Before it was at least tinyurl.com/TFN-newsletter, but now you've made it even longer.
I tried to make it tinyurl.com, the Full Nerd newsletter, the Full Nerd, the official newsletter of the podcast.
Wait.
It only let you do 30
Wait. Is
characters.
this malicious compliance
Yeah,
so that way you
actually-
can get Brad to make the official PC World one?
If we
think
make
he
it
is.
good, then they're never going to fix the problem.
Oh
Yeah,
my
right.
goodness.
True. No, it's PCWorld.com/newsletters with an S/sign up. You can sign up for the Full Nerd newsletter. We have a late breaking question for one $60 Codger asks, will there be an option to rent the newsletter, Alaina?
I mean, if I get enough interest, maybe.
There you go. Boom. I still think we should print it off and then you also read it. So we have 3 different ways you can consume the newsletter.
The official zine of the
how
newsletter.
are they 3?
Well, I mean, one is you get it digitally in your email.
Sure.
The second one is you print it off like a zine. The third one is you
But I'd
do
have
the
to
podcast.
ship those out for people to actually get that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's
do
a
it.
no.
or you just distribute it locally.
Yeah,
and it's
you
only
just
the
put
local
it
people.
in like your records, the Amoeba records.
Oh,
I'll
gosh.
put it in my local record shop.
Oh, gosh.
Boom. Anyway,
Yeah, that's
You can
everybody's
hang up-
favorite thing to do: print stuff out and mail it.
You can hang it. You can hang it off of telephone poles with like a little tear off.
You know,
It's like,
last
hey,
week-
get my zine.
I don't know, man. So last week I went a little crazy. I don't think I'll do this again, but I had 18 links in there because I couldn't choose.
That's too many links.
Yeah, it was just
That was a lot of
It was a Costco edition one. I figured that most people scan them anyway, and they're only going to look at the ones they want to. But yeah, that would be a lot of paper to have to print on.
Tech Potato in the chat,
Hey, Ian.
friend of the show, Dr. Ian Cutcher, says, where's the podcast version or audio version of the
Oh,
newsletter?
how did you
True.
get him to start
Yep.
on this too?
True. Well, because it's a great idea.
People around the world are clamoring
Also-
for the audio version of the official
Okay,
newsletter
that's not
of the
fair.
podcast.
He's in Japan temporarily.
And Alaina, I asked Brad for official circulation numbers for the newsletter. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to tell you that I bet those people want an audio version.
All 5 of them.
Think of how good it would
definitely
be.
more than 5.
That's like,
that they-
and like half of you are my coworkers.
Look, it's one thing to wake up in the morning and look at your phone and be like, oh, hey, Alaina sent me something. Oh, yeah, I'm really angry about this. I'm going to yell at my phone for a minute. But think about if they were driving to work and yelling at their car radios instead.
Or
See?
walking down the street and seeing a zine on the floor, zine, whatever.
The hell's design?
Yeah, like a
Wrong with
magazine.
you. You're-
Duh.
I hate this.
Anyway.
This is violence.
Anyway.
Violence.
I want to thank everyone so we can get out of here. Thank you, Alaina, for doing the newsletter.
Thank
You
you
just need to
all
do
for
more of it.
subscribing and keeping my numbers at 5.
There you go. Boom.
I think we can get up to 6 if one person signs up right now.
Got him. Thank you, Mike Kreider, for joining us, sharing your keyboard knowledge with the team.
Well, thank you for having me. It's always nice to get on and play with stuff.
And if you want to see more of Mike's face, which I know you do, then you want to be checking out the Full Nerd or the PC World's official TikTok. We're on the TikTok. He is a TikTok star.
You sound like David Leonard.
yeah.
You kids heard of the TikTok?
Yeah, the TikToks. We're on the TikToks.
Yeah, we're on the TikToks
and
now, I hear.
YouTube Shorts. You know, you'll see. Actually, you know what I've realized? You're mostly going to see Mike's because we have Mike Kreider and then Mike Densiglio, Mikey, the white hat. He's been churning out some good security stuff.
I like the dulcet
Nice.
tone of the two mics.
There you
I'm
go.
a big
Boom.
fan.
There you go. Thank you, Will Smith,
Hey, it's always a pleasure.
for
being
whatever
here, Adam.
shirt that is. I don't know what that shirt
Do you know
is.
what this is?
Nope, I don't know what that is.
Do any of you nerds know what this is?
I mean, it looks like some kind of
I
Adam
can't even
based
see
thing.
it.
Oh,
Atom.
Mike Kreider is blocked by ad. I haven't been able to see Mike the entire time either.
Nope.
Got any ideas, Alex?
Probably
No
nerd
clue.
stuff.
Chat knows. It's the targeting for the Death Star coming into Yavin to blow up the rebels at the end of Star Wars.
Great nerd.
Yeah, it's a classic movie.
Naturally.
Yeah. Okay. I
Why
like
are we
it. I
celebrating
believe
this,
you.
Will?
Look,
Is this
sometimes
some dark
look.
part of you that we didn't know about previously?
No, I'm
Yeah,
not,
Gordon always talked about how the rebels were actually the bad guys.
That's because they did kill a few million people on the Death Stars each time. Probably some independent.
Well, they blew up a
contractors.
whole planet, so you know what?
Oh yeah, it's two
There-
rights make a wrong.
Anyway, thank you everybody for tuning in. Alex is going to take us out of here. Get us out of here.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. Take care of each other. Be nice to each other. And we will see you next week.
I forgot to do the ad break.
You're terrible at this.
We're gonna have to stick it in there. Apropos of nothing.
Alaina, Tech Potato says audio version is needed, otherwise there's no accessibility. You're
True.
not wrong.
Boom.
Yep.
We're out.